Schedule online today at anthonyphce.com.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motor Studios. Derek Johnson knows playoff ball.
Derek Johnson can blitz and decleats Mariota.
Catch him every Monday at 7:30 with Fesco in the morning, right here on 610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WGAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Station.
Well, Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio. On today's show, is playoff Frank back for another run? Can Cincy continue to play the underdog card? And how will the Bengals exploit Mahomes' injury? Special guests include Vinnie Pasquantino at 10:30 and Nate Taylor at 1. Now two guys who know that win or lose, we still bake the potato. Cody Tapp and Alex Gold.
The baked potato idea is still on. It is still on for the game on Sunday if you're heading out to Arrowhead. Just bring a baked potato. Stay warm.
We need 100 people to commit to that. Meeting in between the first and the second quarter. Alex is 1, so we only need 99 more. What's your mom say?
Can I ask you something? Why do we need it?
I need things in my life to just keep me moving every day. It's like the next thing to look forward to. It's like
it gives you a reason to live.
It gives, knowing that 100 people that eat a baked potato between the first and the second quarter gives me like a reason to live until Sunday. Look, I got to figure it out after that.
What about your family?
Your kids aren't enough?
Don't worry about that.
Your kids aren't enough?
This is sad.
That's kind of really a depressing way to start the show.
You have bigger issues that I think a baked potato aren't going to be able to solve.
We've already discussed the fact that
this is a stopgap
Don't you remember
solution.
this conversation when I said, should I be in therapy? And the answer I gave myself in the air was, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it openly on the air. We'll get a therapist who comes in here, and I'll do the regular therapy session, but while everyone is here. Start exploring, childhood trauma.
No, Cody.
You want to do that?
Just go do therapy on your own. We don't need to be a part of that. We don't need to be privy to that information. That's between you and your therapist.
You want to be live streaming your therapy? That would be really weird. Really weird.
Be first.
I think that would defeat the purpose kind of the of the therapy if it was live streamed to everybody. You couldn't be as vulnerable, I feel like.
No, I would be equal. I'm vulnerable on this show all the time.
No, I only want you to do therapy so you can get better. I don't want you to do therapy for content's sake. We are worried about you. Have we not made that clear enough?
Making it clear now.
Looking forward to Vinnie Pasquantino joining us here in about 30 minutes, our NFL insider. He was in Buffalo. He saw Cincinnati firsthand. We'll get a Vinnie Pasquantino scouting report on the Cincinnati Bengals, and rumor is he might be heading to Kansas City this weekend as well. He might be, just going to go to the Super Bowl too in a couple weeks. This guy has been to so many football games and so many stadiums this year. It's incredible.
He's got a few.
He's doing his job.
He is. He's our NFL insider. He's living life. Why not? It's still baseball offseason. They'll be heading to Arizona for spring training anyway. He might as well go to the Super Bowl.
I think it was very smart of our show to invest a budget in sending Vinny to all of these venues. It was important that we get him first.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wow.
You telling me we've been funding Vinny's offseason?
I'm in charge of the show.
He's a Major League Baseball player.
And you've been paying for his flights?
I think it's nice that he's been on site. Boots on the ground.
The amount of things that you do without any real reason behind them is shocking.
Is it concerning?
Yeah. And we're paying for it. We're funding your little pet projects.
Cody did tell me real quick. He did tell me, though, that he was keeping an eye on it because, it's tax filing season starting like today, essentially. I think IRS opened up accepting refunds or returns. And like I said, Cody's on his own for that. He wanted control of the show fund. He can handle the tax implications.
I did receive a 1099 for the shirts that we sold on this show. Would you guys like to chip in a little bit? Just a Venmo from either of you guys.
You got it,
man. It's all you, man.
$15-20. It'd be great.
Honestly, we'll find a way to screw it up. You should just handle it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That is all you, man.
Sure, not just like a little kick in. It'd be nice.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't sound like
Gold,
I'm
go ahead and get us started today.
I will, because I think we look at Cincinnati and we know there's been the 3 straight wins, of course, for them, but they've all been by 3 points in the margin, and the Chiefs have had leads, not even like double-digit leads, as a matter of fact, in those games in particular. And so you're just trying to go through and figure out, all right, what has actually changed as the game has gone on in those matchups? And other than getting sacks or not getting them, I think the one thing that's been consistent, at least it certainly cropped up in the last game in the regular season this year, which was what we were concerned about against any opponent this year, really, which was this team's inability to protect the football. the regular season matchup, it was a turnover. It was a Travis Kelce, rare fumble. They're up by 4. They have the ball with 7 minutes or so to go. They're moving it down the field. The Chiefs are going to win that football game if there's not a fumble. And so even more than some of the other things that we can discuss, as we already have and will continue as the week goes on, I think it is the blown leads coming down to the turnovers.
Mattering because obviously that's how they lost the last one. But I went back through each of the last 3 games to figure out if there was at least one common denominator. And to me, there were 2 things that stood out. One, Kansas City straight up can't score in the fourth quarter against Cincinnati. And in most cases, can't score in the second half. The most recent game they scored in the second half. They scored 14 third quarter points, which gave them and they never scored again. We know how bad they played in the AFC title game in the second half offensive because they had a huge lead at half in that one. I can't get over the fact that they mostly blow big leads against this team. And part of me thinks, as much as Peyton Manning says halftime adjustments don't matter, right now their big problem is Cincinnati's a better second half team than them. More consistently, way more consistently than they are. They're getting outscored by 4 touchdowns in the combined in these 3 games in the second half. Like, even go back, it's weird because, like, even in the games where Cincinnati didn't score a lot, in the AFC Championship game last year, you might think that Cincinnati just scored, right? No, they scored 6. They scored 3 points in overtime and 6, or 3 in overtime and 3 in the fourth quarter. 6 points in the final 2 quarters of that game. Because remember, overtime kind of took a while. But when you're like, what, that's it? In the third quarter, they scored 11. The Chiefs scored 0. And that was over the course of the third, fourth quarter, and overtime. To me, that's the biggest issue. They are continuously having a plan that is forcing you into bad decision-making in the second half of these games. But I also just think that I don't know that there's enough sample size to say it's just going to happen 4 times in a row. Kansas City's going to get a double-digit lead again in the 4th game in a row and blow it again for the 4th time in a row?
I also would argue this year it's probably more challenging anyway to get the early lead on Cincinnati than the past. They put up this stat during the broadcast in the Bills and Cincy game on Sunday, which is how good in the last 4 games, but even this season Cincinnati has been in the first quarter. You know, heading into that Buffalo game, I think it was like 35-0 in the first quarter or something like that against some of their opponents. They have been dominant in the first quarter, have Cincy over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, over the last 4 weeks.
Now, for the entire season, if you extrapolate it out, Cincinnati is the second best team in football this year in first quarter points. Now, Kansas City's 5th, so they're not, it's not exactly like they're bad in the first quarter, but Kansas City 5.6 points per game in the first quarter this year, and Cincinnati 6.2. They're right behind, the Detroit Lions, actually, were the best first quarter scoring team in football this year at 6.3. But Cincinnati was the second best team in the first quarter. So it's kind of the opposite of what has happened in these matchups. Typically, it has been the big lead early for Kansas City, going back to at least the AFC title game. And this season, it would tell you that Cincinnati, it's actually the first quarter is the quarter to watch for them as well, because that's a team that has been dominant so far in the last 3-4 games.
Chiefs scored 14 first quarter points this year on them, 28 first half points. Do you remember how many they scored in the second half? 3. Like, it's illogical that this continues to happen. It defies, that was the regular season last year. It defies logic that they would continue to do this to teams, that they would continue to, because the Chiefs, this is actually something we credit Andy Reid for, is they do a really good job of keeping a lead, and even though it's ugly sometimes, Gold, we're like smashing the table, we're mad, we're watching the game, we're like, Andy, what are you doing? They win those games. Like, sometimes they feel like they get too close, but they win them. Maybe it's just that Joe Burrow's too good. You got to learn your lesson that you can't just get on a lead and try to sit down and comfortably wait for Cincinnati to blow it. You can't be up 10, 11, 12, 17 points, which they've been up in all 3 of these games, double digits, and just wait for, to grind out the win, because Burrow will erase it very quickly.
Do you think the difference, if they're actually willing to lean on it, the difference from last year in the AFC title game as well is perhaps a little bit more trust in the running game? I know this has been an ongoing issue we've discussed time and time again. You can still keep your foot on the gas, but also rely on the running game a little bit. And are you able to do that in this quarter? Now, I'll be honest, despite the history and what you've laid out for me of how these games have gone, I do find it extremely hard to believe that on Sunday, that the Chiefs are going to have a double-digit lead on Cincinnati. I find it hard to believe that either team is going to have a double-digit lead on the other at any point in the game on Sunday. I just don't believe that will be the case, considering the familiarity of both these teams, considering how well Cincinnati had been playing prior in these big games, frankly. I mean, in these big games, you know that as much as we talk about Patrick Mahomes not being phased by big moments and in big games, Joe Burrow certainly is not either, right? I mean, Joe Burrow has come into Arrowhead and beat you in the biggest game at the time of the season, other than the Super Bowl. And so I don't think they're, certainly not only not afraid of you as the opponent, they're certainly not afraid of coming into Arrowhead on Sunday.
No, I said yesterday, and I think that still applies. They are the only team in the NFL who doesn't fear you. Like, they don't. Everyone else looks up to you or thinks, how are we going to get past the Chiefs, or plan their off seasons around it. The entire AFC West, the Buffalo Bills, they all planned their off season about how they were going to get past the Chiefs, the team that stood in their way most right. But Cincy doesn't have to feel that way. Now, they've only played each other one time in the postseason, so we still have a very limited sample size of what to expect in those games, playoff games. But it's like the turnovers, right? You mentioned that that's the reason they lost the last one. Yeah, sure. And Mahomes threw a couple of picks in one of the other games, but in the third game they lost by 3. He didn't turn it over once. Joe Burrow just destroyed them in the Jamar Chase regular season game last year when he went for 300 yards and 9 scores or whatever the hell it was against Charvarius Ward. I think there's, again, I had mentioned the one thing that stands in common is they continue to blow second half leads and they can't score in the second half. But they also have not done anything to really slow Joe Burrow down. I feel like I'm not a big, let's just blame Spags for everything guy, but I don't think Spags has had a good plan against Burrow yet. Whatever the plans are he's coming up going into those games, they're not working. The first game when it was, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to let Charvarius Ward go one-on-one against Jamar Chase, and one of those won't hit. Wrong. They will. They will all hit, and they all hit. And then the second game, it was the same thing. They laid back, and Joe Burrow picked him apart. In the third game, Joe Burrow completed 25 of his 31 passes. He was surgical. He didn't have some gaudy numbers that put it up there. They just moved the field all the time. He's like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do what they do to us. We're going to let them go all the way down the field, and we're going to let them beat them apart. And maybe there is no good plan against Burrow. But certainly other teams have done a better job slowing him down. The Chiefs might have done the worst job in the NFL over that time.
No question. And this is where you hope that adjustments continue. It's I don't buy in ever to it just is. It's been too long. It just has to happen, or some so and so as a football team as a whole is just due. You can't you can't beat a team a fourth time. I was saying the same thing. You can't beat a team a third straight time, and in Cincinnati's beat the Chiefs 3 straight times. So there's plenty of logical reasons why Kansas City can win this game. And by the way, the line keeps on moving. We'll get to that in a second in favor of Cincinnati. But the notion of it's just hard to beat someone 4 straight times. I thought it was really hard to beat someone 3 straight times as well. So that cannot be your one thing you're just leaning in on. I know you're not, but I'm just saying in general, it can't just be that, at some point they've got to beat them. No, each game is its own separate entity. There is nothing that requires. There's nothing.
Zach Taylor said we just got to beat him one time in a row. He tried to do the coach speak.
Well, it's true though, right? There's nothing that requires if you won 7 times in a row, you have to lose. No, you actually have the same. It's like if you're playing roulette or whatever, right? It doesn't.
Black 14 times in a row doesn't mean it's not going to be red next time.
Yeah,
that means it's not going to be black again.
People will see on the board it's been black 10 times in a row. No, there's nothing that says it has to be red the next spin. It's the same odds every spin. It doesn't change. That's how people lose a ton of money playing roulette.
I do like to bet that way, though.
You're not alone. We all do it. But
I actually like to bet with it. It's 10 black in a row. I'm let's just stick with it.
I just look this game on Sunday. You do wonder what's the adjustment in particular from Spags. Does he have a better defense to work with on Sunday, Cody, than he's had in any of the other prior matchups? Yeah, I really believe that. Don't you? Looking at the experience that some of the young guys have gained since then, Karlaftis was not playing at the level he is now.
Nowhere close, yeah.
At that point in time. Obviously, Chris Jones, we can go back to it. If there was ever a time, I said it last week, but truly this game, ever a time to get your first playoff career sack. Can the Chiefs win on Sunday? It sounds really weird to just dumb it down to one player, but can the Chiefs win on Sunday if we're still talking on Monday and Chris Jones does not have a playoff sack?
Yes, but only because Playoff Frank exists now.
Okay, right, because it is
somebody's going to have to get a sack. It doesn't have to be Chris Jones.
It's crazy what he can do. Frank Clark is tied for 4th all-time in postseason sacks in NFL history. That's a real thing.
With Reggie White.
With the great Reggie White. A Hall of Famer, Reggie White. And less games, too, by the way. Less playoff games.
Yeah, it's not even like he's played more. A few less playoff games, which makes it weird. I guess I'm just supposed to, except, by the way, the other three people on that list are Terrell Suggs, Bruce Smith, and Willie McGinnis. And Willie McGinnis played in the postseason for I don't know, 2 decades straight.
These are all
roughly.
These are like all Hall of Famers, with the exception of Suggs. Like, we're talking about Willie McGinnis and Bruce Smith and Reggie White.
Every other person in the top 10 on that list will be a Hall of Famer, I'm pretty sure. The top 10 are Clay Matthews, James Harrison, Charles Haley, who is a Hall of Famer, Dwight Freeney, Reggie White, Terrell Suggs, Bruce Smith, and Willie McGinnis. Those are all Hall of Famers. Frank Clark, by the way, this is the Terrell Davis thing. Just so you know, Frank Clark is going to end with 100 sacks, 120 career sacks, and he will be 4th all-time in playoff sacks. Frank Clark might end up a Hall of Famer. I guess what I hadn't planned on, last year, you, who were maybe the biggest scream at the rooftop of this entire show of playoff Frank is a thing, and we have to believe it's a thing, and I don't care what he does in the regular season, just as long as he shows up in the postseason. We had a funeral for him last year. Playoff Frank had died. Oh, no.
You wanna?
Oh, no. There's breaking news into Cody and Gold. The refereeing crew for the Super Bowl has been announced. The head referee will be Carl Sheffers.
So it turns out footballzebras.com knows what they're talking about. Remember that yesterday?
You told me that he wouldn't get it 2 times in 3 years, Gold.
I didn't think
That's
so.
what you told me.
I told you yesterday.
You promised me this.
I did promise you. And
Damn it.
I told you
It's
yesterday.
the worst news. I hope they lose to Cincinnati now. Nobody even wants this game. This is the worst.
Please save that.
Say that again?
Yeah, can you say
Obviously, I don't mean that. I'm just mad about Sheffers.
So it is official. Footballzebras.com was correct yesterday that Carl Sheffers is going to be the official in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm.
What the hell are we supposed
I'd
to do?
rather
with this
him
information?
officiate the Super Bowl than this game on Sunday. I'll tell you that.
Why? It's bad either way, man.
Nope. I'd rather him officiate a neutral site football game than one at Arrowhead.
Carl Sheffers is the worst.
Of course he is.
I still stand by that if he referees, as Nick pointed out yesterday, a perfect Super Bowl game in which the Chiefs win, we can write him nice letters or something. But I've told you, and Nick will, and I think a lot of people out of me disagree. They don't like. He has. I would not say this about any other referee or umpire in any sport. He has a vendetta. It's very obvious he has a vendetta. He calls Chiefs games differently. It's obvious based on that he calls them differently. He cried at Arrowhead earlier this season. That does not seem like the kind of guy I want refereeing a Chiefs Super Bowl game.
There's no foul on the play for a block in the back. Timeout.
That guy will be your official for the Super Bowl in Arizona.
Cody, I have a question for you, and please don't interrupt me. Let me get to the end of the question. I'm just curious. Who do you want to see win the game between the Chiefs and the Bengals on
I
Sunday?
hope they lose to Cincinnati now.
Okay. I asked you politely not to interrupt me.
Mm-hmm. You got that so quick.
And you interrupted me just to tell me that you're rooting for Cincinnati to win.
I'm obviously rooting for the Chiefs to win this game. I hope they lose to Cincinnati. You can't just play it over.
I can.
You said it.
You said it. We didn't make you say it. The audio's not doctored.
I just don't.
Maybe choose your words a little more deliberately.
I don't want Carl. How, by the way, I don't understand how just general policing or quality control works amongst NFL referees. But can one person who works for the NFL offices explain to me, having watched Carl Sheffers referee many games, can one person in the NFL office help me understand that he's your best? This is your best referee? This is the most damning indictment on NFL officiating of all time. He's the best one you have. You have a million of them. That he does the best job.
Somehow he is
impossible. There's just no way.
Somehow he is graded out high enough. It's unbelievable. Somehow he is graded out high enough that the NFL, just 2 years after officiating a Super Bowl, is getting another Super Bowl. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'll be angrier once we get to a point where it actually impacts the Chiefs. It's hard for me to be as fired up as you are today.
I think he should recuse himself, like a judge who has a personal bias.
The Chiefs have to win on Sunday first for me to really get upset about who's officiating the Super Bowl. I don't like that it's Carl Sheffers, but bigger fish to fry here on Sunday afternoon before we get to Carl Sheffers and have 2 weeks to crap on Carl.
I think it's like a judge with a bias.
You're not going to care that he's the official if the Chiefs aren't in the game. So I'll wait until I know the Chiefs are in the game for me to freak out. But I don't like it either.
but I don't like it either.
Cody, see, on the other hand, subscribes to the notion of just freaking out at any possible moment. And
You know, you guys could do with more emotion in your life.
I think I have plenty of emotion.
I don't think
Carl's
so.
emotional.
You're dead inside. Everybody
Foul
knows
on
it.
play for a block in the back.
See,
Timeout.
your idea of emotion is outrage at all times.
That's not true.
I think you need to rein in your emotions a little more.
Control them better. So I hope they lose to Cincinnati now.
I mean, that was an emotional. You said
It was an emotional response.
Very emotional.
Do you regret that emotional response?
I don't think I actually meant it. I don't want to watch Carl Sheffer's referee a game in which the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl.
We might have made Kansas City sports radio history today on the show. I don't know, out of all the radio hosts in this city that have ever hosted sports talk on any of the stations in this town, I don't know if a host has ever said, they may have said they think the Chiefs will lose. We certainly predicted the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard a sports radio host ever say he hopes the Chiefs will lose.
Yeah.
But that,
I would bet when teams are really bad, I bet they hope that when they were going for the number one overall pick. Probably
Okay,
not
well,
an
that
AFC title game.
context is a lot different.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm just saying I don't think that's the first
Shot at
radio
the
host
Super
who's
Bowl,
ever said
a
it.
shot at the Super Bowl on the line, and you are actively rooting for the Bengals to win.
Okay. You guys don't have to be jerks about it. Obviously, I was saying that over my reaction to Carl Sheffers.
and yes, for those asking on the text line, yes, it's 100% official. It's not just
Yeah,
a report.
that's the NFL officiating
has announced that Carl Sheffers is going to be the official in Arizona for the Super Bowl. And this will be his third Super Bowl. Is that right? I believe this is his third Super Bowl he gets to officiate. Somebody thinks he's doing a hell of a job.
He
I don't
did the
know
one
who the heck
against
it
the
is.
Chiefs in Tampa Bay.
And did another one, too. I don't know which one it was, but I believe this is his third Super Bowl.
I really, again,
What do you think of the replay official, Mark Butterworth? Are you a big fan of his?
Mark Butterworth. Is that a real name?
That's his real name, Mark Butterworth, man.
That's a hell of a name.
Big fan. Big fan of Mark Butterworth. Excellent job, right?
Is there a relation to Mrs. Butterworth? Is there a relation there? Is that what's going on?
It's, I think, a second nephew.
Okay, makes sense.
Man, he has to work. Didn't just get that like trust fund money, the Butterworth money.
It's not, man.
Yeah, Mrs. Butterworth. I mean, talk about it, an American icon.
That's right.
Mrs. Butterworth, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben. One's got to go.
Wow, that's,
By the way,
that
a
was
lot of them have already gone.
Yeah,
They changed him.
It's not Aunt Jemima anymore.
It's also not Uncle Ben.
Yeah, they've changed.
They got
it.
rid of those,
Remember
man.
Oh,
that-
yeah,
that
Aunt
was a-
Jemima was
that-
going after the company, right? They're going after...
No, well, we don't need to go down this road, but there was
I don't
some,
think-
there was some controversy
There wasn't
with the
enough kickbacks.
name. There's some controversy with the name and all that, and yeah.
You know what I...
Mrs. Butterworth is already the last woman standing in your argument.
All right, well,
Well, what's controversial
tough to
about
argue,
Mrs.
then.
Butterworth? I mean, come on. There's nothing.
You know,
there.
someone turned into this show at this exact moment. They would be very confused about the conversation we were
well,
having.
to be fair, we were screaming at people to bring baked potatoes to the game yesterday, so this is sort of on par.
This is on brand for
Yeah, this
us.
is kind of what we do.
Now I'd like 100 people with baked potatoes and another 100 people chuggles of Mrs. Butterworth.
I mean, that
on
one's a
Sunday.
leap to try and explain to anyone.
Yeah, the replay
To
official.
honor the replay official?
Have you guys seen though? We continue to see line movement for this game. The Chiefs at a couple different spots now are now 2, if not 2.5 point underdogs. So Cincinnati cannot claim they are the underdogs. Like literally, they are not the underdogs. Like it's not even. That is actually just factually inaccurate. Cincinnati, you are not the underdogs on Sunday. I love it, by the way. I love the Chiefs being a home dog. How often
do you get to bet that?
The answer is Patrick Mahomes only twice. This will be the second time ever where Mahomes is an underdog at home. He's just not. He was
Did he win that other game?
at Buffalo. He lost. That was it. Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
he did lose that one. He's been an underdog in 8 games in his career. He's 6-1-1 against the spread and 5-3 straight up. Now he also wasn't hurt in those games. He's dealing with an ankle injury, as we all know, throughout this week. But the Chiefs are officially underdogs, and that's
That's got to be why, though, right?
Of course.
If Mahomes is 100% healthy, if his ankle is fine and nobody's worried about it and there's not questions to Andy about it, then he is for sure a favorite in this game.
I think
that
it's-
line movement to me is about obviously public money, which we know is all flooding in towards Cincinnati. I think it's an overreaction to Cincinnati kicking Buffalo's ass and Patrick Mahomes' ankle. It's those two things that are driving this line 4 or 5 points away.
Yes, I mean, if Mahomes didn't have the ankle injury, I think the Chiefs would 1 point favorites, 1.5 point, like right now, not where it opened up at. It opened up at 3, and then it obviously moved in the opposite direction. Like, I don't know if we'll get to a 3 on the board. I mean, if the Chiefs end up being 3 point home dogs, I absolutely love the number at that point. I don't know if we'll see a 3 on the board, though. 2.5 is a number that you never would have expected to see in an AFC title game involving Mahomes. But it's all
You just got to
like
set an
the word
alert so that when the second it's 3, you can bet it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clearly the injury. Yeah, I mean, it's the thought that is there a chance that Mahomes starts and then he re-aggravates it, and then we're talking about Chad Henne for a half. I think that's part of the thought process with it, stuff that we hope doesn't happen. But it is pretty wild to see an AFC title game where the Chiefs are a home dog, but I kind of like it. I like being the underdog. How often in the Mahomes era, I just told you only 8 times now, but how often are you going to really ever be able to, in a playoff game, talk about the best quarterback in the league being a dog? And I understand he's hurt, but still, that's just...
On the team with the number 1 record in the NFL?
It's pretty wild. I think Chiefs fans should embrace the underdog role on Sunday night, I guess it'll be, at Arrowhead. You're not supposed to win, Kansas City. You hear that? You're not supposed to win.
It is.
Cincinnati's supposed to win this game. Everybody thinks Cincinnati's winning. I love it.
I'm not saying it's easy because teams play underdog all the time even when they're not. Don't you remember when Julian Edelman had shirts made to be like, they don't believe in us? And you're like, you guys have 5 Super Bowl rings, man. Just literally nobody is buying this. That was the Patriots tried it once. But you're an actual underdog. You are a betting underdog. And I know it's taboo. Patrick Mahomes is not going to step to the podium and say, Vegas thinks we're an underdog. Teams, players, coaches, they don't talk about Vegas spreads like that in a public setting. But I imagine if you're Andy Reid, you walk into that door and they'll be like, there you go. This is what the rest of the country thinks about you. You played a slightly more contested game than they did against a worse opponent. And now, the public all thinks you're losing to Cincinnati because you lost to them 3 times in a row, because they're worried about Mahomes' ankle. Let's prove them all wrong. It's not often the Chiefs get that rally.
It's not. And we'll all be thrilled and happy if they win on Sunday anyway. But is anybody else just picturing in their head a little bit what post-game Frank Clark interview would sound like if the Chiefs win as home dogs? We all have heard Frank Clark after they won the AFC title game.
He was good before this last game.
Yeah, but we all remember 2 years ago, the year the Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl, post-AFC title game, Frank Clark, and that amazing, I think Fesco was on the field interviewing him, if I'm not mistaken. It was a great interview, and Frank was saying whatever the hell was on his mind. That in my mind, I hope we get to hear that again, because that's the type of post-game interview you would get from Frank, because all this kind of stuff is they won't ever say, as you said, publicly leading up to the game, because they're gonna be keeping their mouth shut. The Chiefs will heading into this game. I believe that. We'll talk more about that. But coming up next, how about our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino? He was in Buffalo. He saw Joe Burrow and company firsthand. We'll get his thoughts on Cincy and the Chiefs on Sunday.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Alex's That Betting Show every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Right here on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE. to Fund 321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon till 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
4 months. 4 months is all it takes to become a pro in a new field, and one that is more in demand than ever, the career of IT. And in the IT field, Centric is the real MVP. The results speak for themselves, with 1,500 companies and counting that have hired Centric grads. Reach out to Russ Mondry today. He will walk you through your career options and discuss Centric's hands-on approach. Learn more at centric.com/610. That's CENTRIQ.com/610. IT is the future of Kansas City. Let Centric make it your future.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
Streaming only on Peacock. From the mind of Rian Johnson, the writer-director of Knives Out.
Miss Gale, you've got this gift. Always knowing the truth.
I only know if something is a lie. The real trick of it is to figure out why.
Natasha Lyonne is Charlie Cale.
It wasn't an accident. I think there's been a murder.
You watch too much Dateline.
A new 10-part mystery series.
Rolls on my fender. I gotta keep moving. I have been kind of a death magnet.
Poker Face, streaming January 26th, only on Peacock.
Why have over 2 million people trusted their bath remodels to Bathfitter? When a normal day is anything but normal, we fit your schedule with our unique tub-over-tub process installed in just a day with no demolition. When high quality is the only quality that matters, we fit your standards. We've been remodeling baths for over 35 years, and every bath we install comes with a lifetime warranty. Get the bath you want in a day with quality that lasts a lifetime. Bathfitter, it just fits. Visit bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
Secrets, cover-ups, and strange phenomena.
UFOs and ideas that challenge reality itself.
My name is George Knapp. I dig into news stories that others can't or won't.
I'm Jeremy Corbell, and for some reason, people tell things they probably shouldn't. And this is Weaponized. Follow and listen to Weaponized, a presentation of Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, Dark Horse Entertainment, and Cadence 13 Studios. Available now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your shows.
Hey, it's Josh Klingler. I've been shopping at Hy-Vee since I was a little kid, and the values keep getting better and better. Did you know one way Hy-Vee saves us all money is with the low price lockdown? Hy-Vee does the research and guarantees the lowest price on hundreds of items for an entire year. Just one of the many big values at Hy-Vee. I love saving at the gas pump by swiping my Fuel Saver card with every purchase. I'm doing my shopping anyway, so get that extra. This is a huge plus. And speaking of plus, go get yourself a Hy-Vee Plus premium membership for extra fuel savings, along with free home delivery, your own personal shopper, and other free items. You also need to try this month's $20 meal deal at Hy-Vee. It's an easy meal for two. 2 beef burritos with queso, chips, and salsa, and 6 cutout cookies. I love the meal deals, especially when we can't decide just what to eat. The weekly Red Hot deals will always be saving more as well at Hy-Vee. So go check out one of your neighborhood Hy-Vee stores in the Metro, the best grocery value in town.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Now, joining Cody and Gold.
Hey, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning, let me tell you that.
It's your 2022 VinFL Insider.
Our hand's going to get any bigger.
Royals first Pasquantino.
As a potential future Chiefs fan, we hate the Broncos.
All right, Vinnie Pasquantino is joining us. First of all, though, I think there were some Chiefs fans that were a little concerned, Vinnie, when they saw on your Twitter feed you were in Buffalo. You were at the Bills Stadium Were you a neutral observer, or was there some rooting interest there?
I was a neutral observer. Yeah, I've never seen the Kansas City people turn on me so quick. I figured at some point it was probably coming, but I just didn't know it'd be that quick. Our good friend Bobby Witt, he posted that he was in KC with a pin next to it, and I texted him. I said, "Watch this," and I tweeted that I was in Buffalo, and very quickly my feed turned very negative on me quickly. But yeah, that happened. But I was just there scouting. That's all I was doing. Is there on a business trip. Got to see a football game, watched the Cincinnati Bengals punch their ticket to the Gayha Field Invitational.
I know that you are, you're going to grind the tape later in the week, so certainly we can get some more analysis there. But what was your initial scouting impression of Cincinnati?
Cincinnati is just that they were a more physical ball club in the snow than the Bills were. I would say that Von Miller not playing for the Bills, that's where it made its impact, was that game right there. Nobody. Now, again, remember, when you're at games, it's hard to get the stats because they're not just forced down your throat all the time. But I don't remember Joe Burrow ever even getting touched. So you're going to need to get to the quarterback if you want to beat the Bengals. That is a fact. Same goes for if you want to beat the Chiefs.
You were there with, Ryan Fitzpatrick was there? Who else were you sitting by, and how was the interaction with Fitzmagic?
Yeah, so Ryan Fitzpatrick was sitting 5 rows behind me or so. And I get a text from Chris Rose, and he says, "Hey, go take a picture with Fitzpatrick." It's like, say no more. Will do. And so I was literally fanboyed about as hard as you possibly can. I just went up there. I said, "Hey, Ryan, my name's Vinny. Chris Rose told me to come take a picture with you." And he's like, "All right, let's do it." And that was it.
How did Chris Rose know that you guys were 5 rows apart?
So this is where it gets a little hazy. Either somebody told Chris that he was there, or I told Chris he was there. I cannot remember. It was snowing, So yeah, it was snowing. It was, you know how it goes.
When we're talking about the NFC side, before we talk about the Chiefs thing, we've got the Eagles and, of course, the 49ers. Is Mr. Irrelevant story going to about the NFC title game?
Oh, God, both those teams are just so good, but going to the Link is so hard. It's such a good place to have your home field being. I like the Eagles, I think. Last week, I kind of liked the Giants. Seeing the Eagles just dominate that game. I'll just say it. I'm biased on a weekly basis. I don't look at the long term. I look at the right in front of me, and right in front of me is the Eagles were unbelievable on Sunday to the point where it was just kind of a boring playoff game. That's a good spot as a franchise when you're playing boring playoff football games.
It's so rare that you're talking about just like these especially in divisional round games. I feel like they're supposed to be ugly like the 49ers-Cowboys one was.
Yeah, especially coming off of weeks off for the Eagles. I mean, it's not easy to come off a bye and just get right back in there and have everything firing on all cylinders, especially with a team that was as hot as the Giants. Now, I mean, they play Texans, the Colts, the Vikings. Like, not that the Vikings weren't good, but every team that they beat this year is no longer in the playoffs. So that's tough for them. But, yeah, I mean, I have it's going to be a weird uniform matchup seeing the Chiefs and the Eagles play each other in the Super Bowl.
The Kelsey brothers.
Yeah, the Kelsey brothers, that's a big one. They're going to have to record a podcast live from the Super Bowl, I think. I think that's the only way they can really do that.
We're talking to our VetFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino, here on Cody and Gold. What did you make of what the Chiefs looked like against the Jags? Because we know the huge story coming out of that is the health of Patrick Mahomes with that ankle. You're a professional athlete. I don't know what the worst injury is that you've had, but this high ankle sprain sounds like a big pain in the ass for Mahomes for Sunday.
Yeah, that's bad news. I think he'll be all right. It seems to be an injury that he's had success coming back from before, which is good. Obviously, we don't know the exact grade of it. At least I don't. You guys might. But I think he'll be all right and he'll play. But, I mean, to be honest, if something were to happen and he couldn't go, at least Chad Henne got a little bit of work, I suppose. He'll play in a game. But let's just not even think about that. 15's going to be out there this weekend. He's going to be firing on all cylinders, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Vinny, I don't know if you obviously you're very busy. I assume you didn't catch the first segment of the show. Nick, I don't know if you have it, but Cody already has upset everybody in Kansas City.
That's not true, Vinny. They're playing this out of context.
Listen to what Cody had to say a few minutes ago.
So I hope they lose to Cincinnati now. Okay, so look, I was yelling into the microphone at the time, Vinny, because I didn't like the referee for the Super Bowl game.
Yeah, well, that's where being a Chiefs fan is just fantastic because you can worry about who's refereeing in the Super Bowl. Just speaking from who I personally like, other than the Chiefs, I could not care less who is refereeing in the Super Bowl. Just get me there. Just get me there. You know.
Just experience it.
You guys have done a nice job of building a team that was just a consistent winner. So I suppose you have that right to feel that way.
What do you think? I mean,
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, from an actual play perspective, like playing through an injury like that, can you just, for one game, ignore the pain if it's 4 15-minute quarters? Can Mahomes really just play through it if he's not worried about it?
I think when the game starts, yes, but as the game wears on and things get a little bit more physical, depending on what the weather's like, how long, like if you're Cincinnati, not that they necessarily need to play like this, but if you can somehow get like an 8-10 minute drive going, all of a sudden Mahomes isn't on the field. He's not moving around. He's just moving around on the sidelines. There's a fire truck going by me right now.
Well, we hear it.
So I hope everybody's okay. Yeah, I hope everybody's okay where that's going. But, yeah, hopefully, if you're the Chiefs, you want to have the ball. You want to control possession a little bit and just kind of keep them moving around. And, 87's going to that. So just find him, see where he's at. Just hit him. He'll go for 20, 25 yards off. I mean, between McKinnon and Pacheco, that's a pretty good duo you got there that's just going to find the end zone.
Vinny, I know you were boots on the ground in Buffalo. Can you confirm or deny that you will be attending this week's AFC Championship game in Kansas City?
Once I get an email officially confirming my tickets, yes, I can 100% confirm. Flights have been purchased. I was getting looked at today. Now I'm trying to find out where I'm going to hang out with the people before the game and tailgate. So
I don't think you'll have an issue finding a tailgate to welcome you in.
So that's my plan. So if anybody out there is listening to this and you got a spot, just let me know. I've got a few things working, and we're going to see. I'm excited to get in the building and feel Arrowhead on Sunday night. It's going to be a good one.
Did you get a feel from that from Michael Massey or MJ Melendez? They came in town and were at the game on Saturday. Did they tell you what the atmosphere was like?
To be honest, I've called Michael like probably 5-6 times and he hasn't answered. So
wow, but you're not blocked. You guys aren't blocked anymore, right? I mean, you don't have them blocked anymore.
He texted me back this morning because I texted him last night and I said, "Why are you the hardest person to reach?" And then I said, "I have other sources that say that you're impossible to reach." And then he started naming people that were not in my source book. So he's just sourcing himself out, which is really funny.
Now, I don't know if you know, there's actually a listener of our show that sounds really similar to you. He actually called in on Friday. I think it was Chris in Overland Park. I don't know if you guys are related or anything, but you guys
I've heard
sound
of this guy.
really...
He sounds unbelievable. Sounds really smart. I'm going to try to find to make him whole and get him a T-shirt or something,
Yeah, maybe Chris is tailgating. Maybe you can tailgate with Chris on Sunday at the game.
Yeah, I'll just send out a tweet looking for Chris, see where he's going to be at, and try to find him. I just want to be with the people this weekend and then go watch the Chiefs punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. And then I want to come to the Royals rally the next weekend and see all the people coming to see us. I want them to be wearing red, I think, when they come to the Royals rally because in that case that means the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl.
I love it. Yeah. That Friday, I know people are fired up for that. We'll have a chance maybe next week or so to talk to you a little bit more about that. Well, hopefully everything works out. You make it again saying Lot J, Vinny, Lot J. There for you.
All right, I'm fired up about. I need to get at some point this weekend. I need to get my fiance Ryan. She's coming with me. I need to get her some Chiefs gear. So where do you guys recommend?
No, Rally House.
Rally House. Got it. We're gonna make our way there on Sunday. Get her something fired up. Get her a Kelsey jersey, baby. Is
that the jersey? Is that's who she likes?
No, not necessarily. But I mean, who doesn't like Travis Kelsey? I'll be wearing my Nick Allegretti jersey. That's coming in today. I got official confirmation that will be here today, so I'm going to get that. And then we're going to go get her a jersey too, and we're going to make it a special weekend.
Love it, man. Enjoy KC this weekend at Arrowhead. We'll check in next week.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
There you go. Vinnie Pasquantino. He's going to be at Arrowhead on Sunday as long as everything gets solidified. And, I don't think he'll have any problem. He sends out a tweet on Sunday afternoon and says, hey, where's the tailgate at? Something tells me, guys, he will have plenty of invites, plenty of free food, free booze, whatever he wants. My guess is
hit him up on Twitter. Let him know. He really is planning on going to the games, so he wants to play tailgate. He wants the full Arrowhead experience.
Oh, yeah. He'll have no problem with that. It's going to be the atmosphere. I mean, it's going to be maybe a little snowy. It's going to be cold. He's going to get the full Arrowhead experience. Biggest home game you can ever have. It's an AFC title game. So, yeah, that's not bad for your first Chiefs game.
Is it supposed to snow?
It is, yeah. As you know, it'll change. So it's going to snow today or tonight till noon tomorrow, and then there's a chance of snow like 40% as of right now on Sunday, and it's going to be, by the time kickoff's at 5:30, so it might be 12 degrees by the time we get to the third quarter or so of that football game. It's going to be a nice football weather.
Does feel right. Although Cincinnati played pretty well in that football weather.
Yeah, it turns out they can play in snow. So can the Chiefs, though. So can the Chiefs. I'm just worried more on the footing of the snow with Mahomes' ankle. Like, if you're asking, like, who do I think, that you got a bad ankle, and then you're going to have maybe slippery conditions, I don't like that.
That part of it, like the ankle injury part of it, concerns me, but I don't know. We haven't got any kind of update. Like, Vinny's like, maybe you guys know the grade. I'm like, no, Andy very specifically.
Andy's not sharing that.
Got asked what grade the ankle sprain is, and he would not answer the question because, truthfully, this is one of the few times you're trying to gain an advantage. If Cincinnati knows the exact grade, they can make a determination on how they're going to play you, and that's what they're trying to avoid. Giving you, like, now I would just presume something's, there's a problem there, and then we'll play them that way. And that leads to, like, how do the Chiefs handle it? Because their defensive coordinator has done as good of a job against top-end quarterbacks than anyone else in the NFL. And if I'm Cincinnati, I'm going to dare him to run. And I know that is a weird thing to say about Patrick Mahomes, who has made more happen with his legs in the last couple of postseasons than even quarterbacks do during that time. But you got to dare him to run. Leave stuff open in the middle. Test him. Make him go outside. Risk him becoming a runner. Risk him getting hit. Risk the end not feeling good if he has to run. Turn him into that kind of quarterback. Flush him out of the pocket. Tempt him to run. Drop 8 into coverage. This goes back to the notion, just let him stand back there and force him to either force a throw in or run.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was at Cincinnati in the title game. They went with kind of had not only 3 defensive linemen, but they kind of had a little spy going on as well. Like, I think it's not just, force him to run, but also, like, they're going to want an answer pretty quick. Yeah, how his mobility is. Like, if you're talking about Cincinnati, they're always going to bring. You want to test that ankle yourself if you're Cincy. So you're going to probably try to get after him early, find out how good is this, and is also something that does it deteriorate as the game goes on. Right? I'm assuming before the game he'll have some stuff to make sure he's not feeling any pain or anything like that. That ankle is going to be taped up super well. But as the game goes on, or if, as we've said, if somebody lands on it a little bit again, or as he's tackled, does he tweak it? All that kind of stuff will be a huge concern. The Chiefs haven't 100% said he's playing, but every indication yesterday, based on the comments from Andy, it would be almost hard to fathom him not playing on Sunday.
It is. I don't know, because the line movement always concerns me. Like, maybe the ankle's a little stiffer than they thought it was going to be 2 days later, whatever.
Luckily, today's Tuesday. You know what I mean?
He's going to play. Like, I don't know to what extent his injury on that day, but he's going to play. I'd be stunned at this point, wouldn't you? Stunned.
Yes.
If he didn't play. Like, if it's a Chad Henne game against Cincinnati, I don't think they can win that game.
Yeah, that's
to be clear.
Yeah.
Well, I saw more of this happening over the weekend, like during the game on Saturday, which was, well, if there's any risk of like long-term damage to Mahomes' ankle, you have to pull him here. We got to stop doing this. We've got to stop doing this with like, well, if there's any chance of his leg needing to be amputated after the game, then I don't think they should. We get it.
It's a high ankle
we get
sprain.
It. We don't want to destroy this guy's career based off one game. I think we're all in agreement here. I feel like there's a lot of straw man arguments whenever Mahomes gets nicked up. Like he's going to play if he's high ankle sprain.
It's an AFC title game.
Let's say the worst case scenario is he could end up needing off-season ankle surgery. Okay, so it's the AFC title game and the championship, and he can heal from that in the next 9 months. So I'm fine. I don't know.
And it's important.
I know it's not my body, but I'm good here.
You can't keep saving a guy for this hypothetical scenario when it's on the line. Like that scenario is here.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like you said, I think it's such a small amount of people that are even like thinking that way about it. I think most people understand kind of where they're at, and out of all players too that are pushing the
he didn't want to go get an X-ray in the middle of the game.
Right. We'll hear again from Andy, tomorrow, right, Cody? I think tomorrow Wednesday. Yeah, I think we'll hear again
tomorrow
from Andy tomorrow and see if there's any, I don't know how much of an update, honestly.
Really, tomorrow what you care for is like 3 o'clock when they list the practice report.
But I'll be honest, Cody,
is he limited participant, full participant, or no participant?
I don't need him practicing tomorrow. Like, that's fine.
I'd like to see LP, limited participant. I'd like to see that, like, he got on the field.
Okay.
He got to stretch in, whatever.
LP,
You know, Just some version of that would feel good. I don't need to see full participant, but some version of the in-between would be nice.
LP? For anybody listening at home who's not familiar with what LP means, limited participant on the official
Thank you,
injury
Nick.
report.
I appreciate that, Nick.
Why are you looking at me like that, Cody?
I don't know.
You were just staring bullets through me like you were about to eviscerate me.
No, I actually thought we were going to get ready to do notes. So
we are getting ready to do notes, but I like to ease into it sometimes.
The last 9 texts on the text line are all just F Carl Cheffers, bleep how, the NFL's rigged, Carl Cheffers, ref the Super Bowl, Carl Cheffers, like all kinds of stuff. It's just a mess right now.
Gotta write something down. Nick's notable
Guys,
notes.
have we at least entertained the idea of maybe killing Carl Cheffers with kindness? Wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
God, dude.
Killing him with kindness. Okay, we've been eviscerating him ever since that Raiders game. Maybe we should take a different approach. If we're super nice to him, like maybe holding up some signs, we love you, Carl.
We're past that.
Picking up his tab on...
No foul on the play for a block in the back.
It's too late, dude. He's not going to believe us.
But the boos aren't working, so maybe we'd be really nice to him, and he'll say, you know what, let me reward this really classy crowd here in Kansas City.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wasn't here the day after the game.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Did anyone else think that he has a personal vendetta, or is it just me?
No, I think the Kelsey.
He's just probably not good at what he does.
I think the Kelsey comments. I do think it still is a human being, and when Kelsey makes comments, saying you can't even be a Foot Locker referee or whatever it was years ago, like that's something that you don't forget about. And they can claim they're unbiased and all that, but they're still humans. So I don't buy that there's not some bias there. That's all. But he continues to grade out well. Like other people must think he's doing a good job. You don't just accidentally get a Super Bowl assignment.
So yesterday you had mentioned in conversation that is a ref that does blow his whistle a lot. They kind of muddy these games up.
A lot of the games go under because of that, because it usually hurts the team in those instances.
Will a referee assignment actually change?
Is willing to bet. I don't know the line itself, but people's reasoning for betting. The totals are the biggest part. Carl Cheffers, I think totals in game states in the playoffs are like 10-1 towards the under. If you're a good offense and you're the favorite in games that he's officiating, it hurts you more than the opponent, which is why it seems like it's hurt the Chiefs more, because usually they're the favorite, and they obviously are usually the best offense on the field.
So this weekend's game, as you guys mentioned earlier, the Chiefs opened as 2-point favorites, now all the way down to, I believe, 1.5-point underdogs. We see lines swing a lot, but this feels like it was a pretty quick swing. I mean, 24 hours it went from the Chiefs being favorites to the Chiefs being underdogs. Is that even quicker than normal?
Oh, yeah. No, this isn't like quote normal line movement. I mean, definitely we have swings that happen. It's just we're dealing with an injury as well, right? That's part of it. And
they just watched Cincinnati beat Buffalo's ass.
Yeah. Well, now this is going to be if it holds, it will be the second time that Mahomes has been a home underdog. The first time was actually earlier this year against the Bills, which, as we know, the Chiefs lost that game. So there's not a lot of precedent here for how Mahomes is going to handle being the underdog. We joke about it a lot, but it feels like every single sign is pointing towards the Chiefs actually being able to use the nobody believes in us card because of how much smack the Bengals are talking. The Bengals are now, I feel like, superseding the Bills as the shiny new toy that everybody wants to make the flavor of the month. Everybody wants to make it's their turn. It's their time to shine, even though they went to the Super Bowl a year ago.
Yeah.
Now being actual, literal underdogs at home.
I like it, man.
I mean, this feels like the prototypical Mahomes-motivated FU game.
I love it, and also like number-wise, if you just want to like have some numbers to make you feel better, we all kind of want something to make you feel better about the situation that they're in. Well, in the past 10 postseasons, road favorites, which is what Cincy is now, are just 3-8-2 against the spread, and that's exactly what Cincy is right now.
And when you're talking about bonus points, that's really the difference between winning the game and losing the game, not just covering it if it's 7 or 8 points and you were a road favorite and just ended up in a game that was slightly different.
I don't know how much we think of we think of the term underdogs in literal sense, like your underdog or the Vegas underdogs. When it comes to players, when it comes to Mahomes, I don't think he really cares about what the Vegas line is. I think guys like him, he is a millennial, they pay more attention to what people are saying, what other teams are saying, what other players are saying, what talking heads on TV may be saying. Dan Orlovsky the ESPN personality.
They definitely care what people are saying. I'm sure that clip of Cody's going to get right back to Andy Reid. I'm sure they're just going to play that. I mean,
so I hope they lose to Cincinnati now. I think he was going to play the Orlovsky clip.
But you know what though? That one is worse than the one I'm about to play, and I think that's great of you, Cody, to motivate the Chiefs. If even just to spite you, they're going to go out and play that much harder to win this game. Here's Dan Orlovsky, ESPN personality, Get Up on ESPN yesterday, talking about Joe Burrow in relation to Patrick Mahomes. Needs no introduction. Just give it a listen.
Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in football. Okay. Now, let me be very clear with what I'm saying, okay? Chiefs fans. Patrick Mahomes, best player. He's the most talented player in the NFL, and he's the most dynamic weapon. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in football. When it comes to quarterbacking, when it comes to understanding play calls, when it comes to understanding what you have to do with the football, when it comes to understanding what the defense is, when it comes to understanding pocket manipulation, when it comes to timing and rhythm and accuracy and ball play, Joe Burrow's the best. He's the standard right now. The consistency with what Joe does, and the way I'll say it is this. The fascinating part is all the stuff that Patrick, Josh Allen, Lamar, Jalen Hurts do. Guys, you can't do that stuff. They're outliers when it comes to so much of their stuff. All the stuff that Joe does, you can, but he's the only one who does. That's the thing that fascinates me about Joe Burrow.
I don't feel like he said anything there. Am I wrong?
What does that mean?
What does any of that mean? That is the most word salad thing anyone ever said on television. By the way, don't trust anybody. This is why you shouldn't trust Dan Orlovsky. He suggested this week putting cucumbers in your tacos. So there's no way I trust his opinion at all. On anything from that moment forward.
I thought we decided yesterday we weren't going to food shame people here, unless it's gold.
Carrington, by the way, early this morning was in the building. He had the exact same opinion about the jalapeno chips as I did, just so you guys know.
Well, yeah, but Carrington doesn't have a lifetime of questionable food takes in the bank.
You guys aren't doing a show with him. He doesn't have a chance every day to explain his food takes. Put him in a bad spot. He said he doesn't want the jalapeno chips either.
But you don't want any kind of chip.
No,
that's not true.
That's not true.
He eats chips every day.
Plain.
Original.
He doesn't. You don't like flavored chips.
Yeah.
Oh, there's salt is a flavor.
Okay, I don't think it is actually.
Oh, it is. It is absolutely.
I don't think that's a flavor.
Salt is part of a flavor profile at times.
It is part of a flavor profile the same way that sweet is a flavor.
Yeah,
but sweet is not a flavor. Savory is not a flavor. Sour is not a flavor.
Is it a description that flavors have?
Their taste,
which means there is a flavor there.
You know that your tongue can interpret 4 different tastes: salty, savory, sweet, and sour. Those aren't flavors, though. So, taste buds, flavors. And that concludes Tongue Anatomy with Nick Short.
Thank you.
On Cody and Gold.
A new part of Nick's notable notes.
Our food coverage and NFL playoff coverage is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. Up next, though, I don't think one individual will be talking much this week, but they certainly are in Cincy. Next.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Royals first baseman / NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. This football season with Cody and Gold.
My Twitter is about to unload of football tweets. First Jets game that I have free on Sunday. It's go time.
610 Sports Radio.
Yeah, back in my day, a gallon of gas was only 80 cents. And it didn't cost an arm and a leg to go to the movie.
Okay, Dad.
So it'll happen to you. Just look at home internet rates. You think they won't go up?
Actually, Dad, I have T-Mobile 5G home internet, so I get T-Mobile's price lock guarantee, which means they won't ever raise my rate for internet.
Yeah, but if T-Mobile doesn't ever raise your rate, then by the time you're my age, you won't be able to complain about back in the day. Because, it'll still be good.
Yeah, Dad. That's kind of the whole point.
Switch to T-Mobile 5G home internet and get our price lock guarantee. We won't raise your rate for internet ever. And it's just $50 a month with autopay. Check availability at T-Mobile.
Qualifying credit and service required. Regulatory fees included in price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without autopay. Price lock exclusions like taxes, fees, select promos, and third-party services apply.
If you are a local business owner, it's probably been a bumpy ride from pandemic to inflation. Did you know that if your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee? Not a lot of people know about this. It isn't a loan. There's no payback. It's a refund of your taxes. The challenge is getting your hands on it. How do you cut through the red tape? Get your business the refund money? Well, go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys they've put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you as well. They do all the work, no charges up front. You simply share a percentage of the cash they get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those who took PPP, nonprofits, even those that had increases in sales. To find out if your business qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com. Qualify me and answer questions. That's getrefunds.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Kansas City Steak Company, another AmericanEagle.com success story. Started in 1932 as a family-owned butcher shop, today they're a leading distributor of superior all-American steaks delivered right to your door, ready for the grill and your taste buds. When it came to their website, an average site wouldn't do. They chose AmericanEagle.com to take their website to the next level. With a dramatic increase in competition and a softening market demand, they had 2 challenges: improve their brand presence and message, and produce a positive return. AmericanEagle.com got to work and executed usability studies and detailed audits of site experience, digital assets, and marketing. The result? An integrated digital marketing and customer experience plan, organic traffic increase of 20%, and a long-term roadmap for success. If you love great steaks, go to KansasCitySteaks.com for website design, development, and online solutions that bring efficiency and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. If you need a results-driven website, call the team at AmericanEagle.com at 877-WebNow1. That's 877-WebNow1.
The Kansas City Chiefs are looking to win the championship, and Metro Ford is winning with new inventory coming in and opportunities to make great deals. View our inventory online at kcmetroford.com. You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Don't miss Nate Taylor with Cody and Gold every Tuesday at 1 and The Drive every Friday at 4 right here on 610 Sports Radio. Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Station.
$11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Nick Schwartz with you. We'll get to the trash of the day in about 15 minutes or so. Also, a little bit of Royals news here in about 5-6 minutes. Trade for the Kansas City Royals, a move that we probably all expected maybe at some point to happen based off of what didn't occur at the trade deadline. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Also, Nate Taylor going to be in studio for the 1 o'clock hour. Looking forward to having playoff Nate Taylor. You think his energy is great? Playoff Nate Taylor. It's a whole nother level. So I can't wait.
He takes his game to another level?
I think so, man. You think it's fun to listen to Nate in a regular season game. Wait till we get Nate Taylor playoff edition, AFC title game edition. So looking forward to Nate coming up a little bit later on in the show. We know the last time the Chiefs got set to take on Cincinnati, it was a rare occurrence where a Chiefs player was talking a little bit, and it backfired. It also was clearly something that Andy Reid was not a fan of. He made that very clear. Of course, we're talking about Justin Reid. That's where we got the whole tuna in a can. We were trying to break down what tuna in a can actually meant.
I'm still not sure, if we're being honest.
We all have our theories, so we kind of have somewhat of an idea of what he meant by that. Remember, that was the Hayden Hurst. He didn't know who Hayden Hurst was. That Hayden Hurst actually got hurt in that game. And so it's not as if you can claim that you shut him down anyway. I don't believe anyone on the Chiefs will be talking smack until after a potential win on the field and going to the Super Bowl.
I kind of hope they do.
Well, yeah. So we all love
not
that.
just from like a radio perspective, because I understand that like it's easier for us, our job, if it was easier that week, right, when Justin Reid is saying things like, I've done a great job. And then after the game, remember? He had said, he had kind of like semi-apologized after the game for talking trash. And then like 24 hours later was like, nope, I meant it all. And I actually played really well.
Tweet, yeah.
Yeah. And so look, going back, Justin Reid actually has played really well, both in that game and since. Yeah. He missed some tackles in that game. So the problem was, and they lost. If you talk a lot, it turns out some of this comes down to whether or not you win the game. If Eli Apple's going to take to Twitter and say, Cancun on 3, or if you're going to see or Jesse Bates is going to say, I hope Patrick Mahomes is healthy, so they don't have any excuses. Or if you're going to hear the comment that happened, was it inside the NFL? Is that where this appeared?
Mike Hilton on the sideline on Sunday.
We'll see y'all in Burrowhead. Yeah, baby. Let that sink in your mind. We'll see y'all in Burrowhead.
Burrowhead is what they're calling Arrowhead in Cincinnati. They think that's the trash talk that is in Cincinnati, and now, of course, all their fans are enjoying. Look, and if you're in Cincinnati, you think it's fantastic. That's the kind of stuff that Cincinnati has kind of done. They're very arrogant, right? They're loose, they're arrogant. That's who they are. As far as Eli Apple goes, that guy spends a ton of time in his day on Twitter to trash talk for a guy that, like, remember, this is a guy that had his mom drop him off at training camp, okay? So Eli Apple's an absolute joke. You're not good enough to talk the way Eli. Mike Hilton can he can talk whatever he wants. Mike Hilton's actually pretty damn good. Eli Apple, not that good. Eli Apple is not a good enough football player to talk the kind of crap that he does. Now, anybody else on that team, I get it. If you're Burrow, you're Chase, you're Mixon, all those guys, look, they've earned the right to do that.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, they have.
Screw that.
Yeah,
they have won nothing.
Yeah, they can still talk crap. We discussed this in the regular season. We even had a segment on this show after the regular season match that said, hey, the trash talk, as much as you're going to hate it,
look, you got to wear it.
They have every right to do it when they've beat you 3 straight times. How do you shut them up? How do you make them look foolish? You beat their ass on Sunday at Arrowhead, and then you're right, Cody. Then it's low. What do you have to show for it? Nothing. The 3 wins mean nothing at that point. Right now, they have the ability to do whatever they want, and they can say whatever they want. Now,
I don't remember them talking this amount with 0 championships. There's not a member on their team that has a championship. They've all collectively won 1 AFC title and nothing else. Now, I think the reason why they are so brazen with the trash talk that we've discussed is they haven't been in the league long enough to realize that they might not win it. They've only really been together as a unit, doing it the way they're doing it for 2 years. And in those 2 years, they had a pretty good, they got to the playoffs and had a chance. And then in the following year, they went to the Super Bowl. So they're feeling unstoppable. They just beat the Bills, so they're feeling even more unstoppable. They beat the Chiefs in the regular season, so they're feeling unstoppable. I can promise you right now that if they lose this game on Sunday, and honestly, I think we'll lose this game on Sunday. I'm leaning towards the Chiefs.
Yeah, you think they will. I don't know if you're hoping that, but you
I
think
they'll win the game, which is probably more important than what Nick had done when he had predicted the Chiefs to lose in the divisional rounds. I hope they lose to Cincinnati now in the AFC title game. When we look at what they're doing right now, Cincinnati is going to have a rude awakening because I think it's easy to talk the amount of trash they do now. When they find out that a season comes to an end without the thing they want, I think they'll be a lot quieter next year.
Obviously. But again, that's not even nobody. I don't think anybody's debating that. You don't have to have a ring, like if by your logic though, they haven't won anything in ring. By your logic, nobody can ever talk trash unless they win a Super Bowl. And that's just not how it usually works in sports. Like, Cincinnati, if the Chiefs go, the only way you shut them up is if
they're
you
just
beat
talking
them.
trash. The whole team is in on it. Their coach is complaining. Their quarterback's complaining.
Cody,
all their corners, their wide
you seem
receiver.
to think that a team that has beaten the Chiefs 3 straight times should just be like super polite.
No, I think they've taken it to
minding their P's and Q's. They can say whatever they
I
want.
can't
man.
stand
It's kind of
Cincinnati
boring.
because of the trash talk, but I get why they're doing it. Like, I can't. Cincinnati is the most hated team for me in football right now. A team that
they're a good villain,
right?
They're a really good villain.
So, and I think most Chiefs fans look at Cincinnati as the team they can stand the most. The only way to shut them up, though, is to win on Sunday. If you do not win on Sunday, the trash talk will reach a whole new level, and they will continue to have every right to talk smack.
This is going to be a big trash talk swing. Let's admit that, right? Because if they lose, just the sheer amount of talk and to the level and strength at which they talked, coming down hard. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt them a lot in this way. And I imagine the Chiefs will be a little noisy.
Again, Frank Clark post-game AFC title game, a win over Cincy.
Will be
I
electric.
would be one of the best interviews we ever have a chance to air, which we'll probably have to have Nick super edit and put a ton of bleeps all over the place for. It would be great.
How many, what's the over-under?
6.
Six is the over-under?
If Frank Clark gets a sack on Sunday and they beat Joe Burrow, he's going to, it's going to be so good.
Chris Jones, too. We should do a little more talking. And then, like the postseason stuff came up, and he still does a little bit. But Chris Jones is a much quieter player than I feel like. And Travis Kelce to a point, too. But if they win it...
And Chris Jones does most of his talking on the field. Because it's not, based off some things that we've heard, is he is a notorious on-field trash talker.
Yeah.
Like, mother F you, this and that.
Yeah. Which is fine. Again, I'm not saying that they have no business. I feel like they've done too much, considering the lack of accomplishment that team has.
You'd love it if the Chiefs were doing it.
I don't think. I like it from an entertainment perspective.
If the Chiefs were doing it, let's just
this
imagine.
Is the thing I've accused both
Let's
of
imagine
you
an alternate universe. Chiefs were playing the Chargers in the AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs were just talking mad trash publicly. You would love it.
The Chiefs have won a Super Bowl and have
I'm just saying, I don't think the only way
punched the entire division for 10 years.
I'm just saying, one, I don't believe that the only way you can talk trash is to have a title. That's the first thing. The second part is if there's a team that doesn't have a title that can talk trash to you, it's the one that's beat you 3 straight times and prevented you from going to the Super Bowl last year. The good news is
we used to talk about all this stuff as being a good motivator for Mahomes. Yeah. We know that he's dug up receipts on teams before, which means he'll be happy in his own post-game thing to say something that's clearly about one of the things Cincinnati said, but not blatantly clear it's about the things Cincinnati said. And we've had the conversation about you have to just wear it for a little bit. That's why the Chiefs will. I think you're right. I think Justin Reed won't talk a lot this week. I think for the most part he'll stay pretty quiet. And I think he'll stay pretty quiet because the last time they tried to fire back in the regular season, they lost.
We'll see y'all in Burrowhead. Yeah, baby. Let that sink in your mind. We'll see y'all in Burrowhead.
There will be some Burrowhead signs from Cincinnati fans now at Arrowhead on Sunday. Although we looked this up, or somebody else looked it up, I should say, but the flights from Cincinnati to Kansas City round trip are like $1,500 right now, and hotels in downtown KC are going for like $350 a night. So if any Cincinnati fans are coming, they're certainly going to be paying a nice penny to get to Kansas City.
Maybe you and Nick should crash together for a weekend and Airbnb your place out.
I'm not that close to Arrow. That's a long trek for them. You think they want to
drive
$2,100?
You guys could split
25 minutes.
Nick, would you let him sleep on your couch?
Why would I Airbnb my place out? I have a dog. If anything, his would be the one.
Absolutely.
Have to Airbnb out.
Mi casa, su casa.
Yeah? Thank you, Nick.
That's
Mr.
really nice.
Alex.
Mr.
Notice that I volunteered your place and not my own.
Yeah, why not your house, Cody? Why not your entire house?
Well, he's a long ways away from Arrowhead.
I'm closer than both of you.
Yeah, Nick.
You are. I don't really understand. I have a bit.
I was like,
Arrowhead
I'm 15 minutes from Arrowhead. I'm assuming you guys are both further than that.
Understanding of geography.
I'm like 25 from Arrowhead. Yeah, Cody's definitely closer than both.
I was like, my place is closer than both, I think.
Yeah, no question.
It's maybe like 20 minutes because I'm like 12, 15 minutes to downtown. I mean, depends on, guess. You probably have to deal with less traffic.
Cody drives slower, though. We've established this. You got to add an extra 5 minutes usually to Cody.
Yeah, but if an equal driver was driving, then it would be different.
Yeah.
You're a reckless driver. You are genuinely terrifying to be in a car with.
Reckless.
You drove the wrong way down a ramp. You speed.
No,
you don't signal. You do many things that safe drivers. You do buckle your seatbelt. I'll give you that.
Well, yes, obviously. So the one Cody loves to mention is the ramp one, is because he knows the circumstances.
We've only been in the car like 2 or 3 times.
He knows the circumstances around what happened on the ramp. He actually makes it seem like I went on the highway the wrong way on an op. There was a point in time where there was nobody around and we needed to double back real quick, and so I turned the wrong way for a quarter of a block, maybe.
I wouldn't have done that.
And that was what it was.
I
It
would
made
not
it
have
sound
made
like
that.
I was going the
An
wrong
unsafe driving.
like I was going the wrong way down the street.
You're not the most dangerous driver I've been in a car with. That's for sure.
I'm very, very safe driver, actually.
What would you say your average over the speed limit speed is?
5 to
No
7.
way.
5 to 7.
No. I think it's 15.
If it's 70,
I think you don't want to admit it because cops will see this
it's
shit.
not 15.
I think if it's 60, you're going 75.
It's different. So in the city, if it's 70, I'm going 75 to 77. When we drive back from St. Joe, yeah, it's over 10. But that's different. Cody, the road trip.
Why
with Cody,
is it different?
The road trip with Cody, it would take forever to get anywhere. It would be 70, and he would just set it on cruise control at 68 miles an hour the whole way.
I said it at 76. I'm 6 on long road trips.
I don't want to jinx anybody on this show, so I'm not going to say anything, but I can go through like speeding tickets / accidents or anything like that, because I don't feel like jinxing anybody on this show by talking about how little or how many that they have. But I don't think it favors necessarily you like in a huge way, or the way you think it does, though, necessarily.
What favors me?
Either tickets / accidents.
Well, I don't know. It's probably a wash. I don't know where you
are. In fairness, Cody is 20 years older, so it makes sense. He's a little bit older than
think about all that. He's spent years on the road, maybe decades on the road before we were even alive.
True. That's very
I don't know that I've been in a car with Nick more than like once, so I can't speak to his driving.
Nick and I,
he doesn't
Nick
let me
and
in his car.
Nick and I went on a road trip together. We both drove on
We
that.
took turns driving, yeah. And I don't remember
Did you
anything.
think I was
Did he make you
reckless?
take your shoes off in the car?
What?
Feels like something Nick would do.
What? What do you mean?
Fancy car.
No. Well, maybe now. Maybe now.
Now you would. Yeah,
maybe
now.
You're right, Cody. Maybe now.
Well, now you guys can't even ride in the car.
Yeah, now we're not even allowed in his car. That's where
You can look at it. You can look at it.
Nick, yeah.
Don't touch it.
Nick has to put like blankets down everywhere to make sure that it's spotless.
No, we had like a rental car.
We did.
Or it was some weird situation when we went to Louisville.
Yeah.
We spent like 9 hours each way.
It was no reckless driving.
Yeah.
I think it was a very comfortable drive.
I've noticed that you keep saying no reckless driving, but Nick has not said a word.
No, I don't recall any reckless driving.
I was like, I'm waiting for Nick to chime in here. He has said nothing in defense of you.
No, I don't really remember much at all about that road trip.
Just too blackout drunk? I get it.
No.
Nick's the one taking an entire month off of drinking due to his overconsumption.
Well, he's already blown that. Remember?
But we established
I had a drink on Sunday.
But I was going to
And
take.
Saturday.
I was going
and
to
I
take.
also think Friday.
We established I was taking last weekend off. I had a college buddy in town.
That's right. We'll get to the trash of the day in a couple minutes, but the Royals did make a little move last night. Michael A. Taylor traded to the Minnesota Twins, so an interdivisional trade to the Twins for a couple of prospects. Well, I guess I don't want to call them full-on prospects necessarily, but for a couple of players. Before we even talk about the return, this makes all the sense in the world. We thought Michael A. Taylor had a chance, Cody, to be traded at the deadline last year. When he didn't get traded, he immediately became a guy like, okay, you got to look to trade him in the offseason. You got probably peak Michael A. Taylor last season.
By about the All-Star break, that's the best he's played, I would say, in his entire career. And look, this is, to me, there's nothing wrong with this deal. Like, if you're going back and you're putting the combination of Dayton and JJ who traded him, Dayton who signed him, this deal made sense. You got Michael A. Taylor for 2 years. He played above average baseball for you during that time, by the way. He was a positive WAR player. He was a plus defender. He won a Gold Glove. You got valuable play out of him. I understand the team wasn't good, but you signed a low-cost player who is a plus WAR player for you, who is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder. Okay, cool. We're good there.
Yeah,
and then you got a decent return for him. What's not to like about the overall Michael A. Taylor experience?
100%. But it was time to move on based off of what you're also trying to find out more about Drew Waters and Kyle Isbell and some of these other guys.
If you want to stick Mondesi in center, whatever it's going to be.
That's one of those where I know we've talked about that before. I think it's more to me about Waters and Isbell, but sure. I mean, I guess the possibility opens up there. You just can never count on Mondesi, obviously. They do get 2 young players back in return. One of them was actually at one point in time acquired for J.A. Happ, was part of the J.A. Happ trade with the Cardinals, as a matter of fact. That's Sisk. He was originally a 16th round back in 2018. He was Utah over there with the Wind Surge, I think it is, and then AAA St. Paul, 5-1, 1.57 ERA, 29 walks, 76 strikeouts. So they get him in the deal as one of the players as well. And if you're taking a look at the other guy, 23-year-old right-hander Steven Cruz. So a couple of pitchers that maybe can compete.
I bet will be in the bullpen at some point this year.
Yeah, they're going to compete during spring training, maybe for a bullpen spot. If not, at some point, maybe they get called up. Do you think this is the last move that they make?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. We get the sense that maybe there's another one to come.
Asking around or getting a feel for, I'm pretty sure that there's a couple more moves going, which means the Royals are already being more transactional than they've ever been. Michael A. Taylor's liked. He is a liked player in the Royals clubhouse. He's not an easy person to let go. He's a winning player in the Royals clubhouse. He has, again, been a better than average baseball player in the time he's played for the Royals.
On a Gold Glove.
But you have to find out what you have in young players. And this is what organizations that we ask the Royals to, mimic themselves after do. They bring in a player on a good deal. They get good quality play out of him. And then they move that player when the time is right so that they can bring in other young players who might contribute to the team, constantly moving in rotation. This level of player. Look, I still want them to give contracts to players I think should be here long term. But for players like Michael A. Taylor, this is exactly the way you handle it. I could still see them moving Barlow. I could still see them moving Mondesi because there have been reports from the Red Sox having interest in them. I can see 1 or 2 more moves before spring training is over because JJ's got to put his fingerprints on this a little bit. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like he took over Dayton's job when he was the general manager anyway. It's got to start feeling like it's all JJ and he's going to operate the way he wants to. To me, Taylor could have gotten moved in the middle of the season last year when he was the general manager, but Dayton was still above him, and above him was still the ownership of the team. Now they're looking for or found the right move in the division with the Twins. This deal to me makes a lot of sense. I have no problems with it, really, in any way. I don't have a problem with the Michael A. Taylor signing from the beginning. This worked. It worked. You got back a couple of prospects. Now you got to hope that these guys turn out to matter for you.
All right, let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
We go to Canada for this one. It's actually timely because we were just talking about Nick and drinking and.
Can you do it can you do trash of the day in a Canadian accent today?
No, you can if you would like.
I sure am sorry about that.
C minus.
Sorry.
Has to do with Nick a little bit, actually. It ties into Nick's dry.
It has to do with me.
Kind of, with your dry January. So in Canada, they have new guidance in Canada on alcohol, and it sparked some debate. And they did some research, and they said that you should have no more than 2 drinks per week.
Okay.
And people are very upset in Canada about this. The guidance, quote, will reach some people, but there are a lot of people for whom this isn't going to resonate, or they're never going to hear about it in the first place. It said, updated its advice from 2011. Back then they said 15 drinks per week for men.
2 a day.
10 drinks per week for women was considered low risk. The new recommendation is based on the latest research into cancer, risk of injury, accidents, and violence.
Are you asking this because you saw the video of the Canadian guy being interviewed for it? Because
yes,
that part was fantastic.
That occurred as well. I'm also asking it because Nick is currently trying to do dry January.
2 feels like, okay, so you're just like, you're going out once, having 2 cocktails and then done?
Seems low.
I don't know. That's probably normal week for me. Because if I'm not going anywhere, it might be like 2 on the weekend and then I don't drink Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It might only be
probably am in
1
the
day,
3
depending.
or 4 a week range.
It depends on the week, I would say. I would say most weeks I'm like 2 to 3, sometimes 0. But then I would say if there are other social events,
right,
it's much easier to get to that 10 or 15 number.
But guys, they don't do it when they come up with those figures. They're not saying have exactly 2 every week. They're maybe considering that you might go 2 weeks without drinking, and then you may have a Saturday where you have 4.
Or 6.
Or 6, right? Because think about, okay, what if you're going to a football game and the game's at noon?
Well, this is the point that Canadian man is making. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
This was an interview, just a man on the street interview with a Canadian man who was being told about the new policy.
What did you buy today?
I bought 6 Busch Light, 6 Bud Light, and I love them, tall boys.
Tall boys? How much would you drink a day?
Well, what day? Regular day, I don't know, maybe a couple beers, depends. Weekends, maybe, 5 beer. 2 drinks a week.
What do you think of that?
Well, that's just not feasible, not in this country. Well, come on, man, 2 drinks a week, what's that going to do for you? I mean, that doesn't even get you through a day. A reasonable amount, if you're at home, you should be able to have like 4 beer. That's just 2 more. I mean, I'll have 6. But 4 is a fair number. But there shouldn't even be guidelines anyway. Why are you going to tell me how much I can drink at home?
Well, I guess the idea is, would you be concerned that you're at a higher health risk if you're drinking too much?
No! That's the main point here is why are they telling me what I can drink at home? What, can I have 2 liters of pop? Can I have 2 liters of pop? Well, what's more healthy? 4 beers or 2 liters of Coca-Cola? Do the math.
So I'm guessing that this information about the new guidelines is going to change your life.
It's heartbreaking, and I can't even believe it. Rock and roll! Oh, wait a minute. You can't handle the tooth.
His tooth fell out, I guess.
In the interview?
Yeah.
His tooth fell out. Sir, I am officially concerned about your health. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the drinking, but everything you just said, I feel like carries less weight. If you can't... You're a good adult. Your teeth can't be falling out in the middle of a conversation.
I mean,
I like that guy.
Oh man, that's.
Oh, by the way, a little breaking news as we were just talking.
Yeah.
Adalberto Mondesi has been traded to the Boston Red Sox.
There it is.
According to Mark Feinsand, the Royals will receive Josh Taylor in exchange. Boston will also receive a player to be named later.
The Mondesi era in KC is over. Injury after injury, frustration, unbelievable talent. Never could count on him, unfortunately. And how many seasons, Cody, did
What's your favorite moment of the Mondesi era?
How many times did we sit here and talk about if he stays healthy, if this happens? Oh, and he's back on the IL. It's just unfortunate. The guy can never stay healthy. It's probably best for everybody to move on. Mondesi era in KC is over, according to Mark Feinsand.
You have to think about how big of it's a big deal because of how big, it doesn't feel big now, but how big of a prospect he was for Kansas City. He was can't miss. He was their Bobby Witt Jr. They called him up in the World Series to try to give him a taste of what it was going to be like to be a big leaguer at the time. Getting Josh Taylor back in return, I don't think I'm going to complain about that. He's a 30-year-old, so it's not like it's going to count too much against there, but at least, I don't know, he pitched in the majors last year, so they're trying to win right now.
47 innings.
He pitched he's pitched a career 100 innings, but I mean, I'll take a chance on a guy like that. Depends on which player you give up, but like Mondesi wasn't going to do anything for you. He's not like a star or anything, but Taylor will be on your big league staff this year, so you're not going all the way down to the minor league system for it.
All right, coming up next, we'll get back to the Chiefs Red Half Hour, and back into the one thing that keeps on happening every time the Chiefs play Cincy.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, welcomes basketball fans with this absolute slam dunk offline wager on any game. And if either team hits a three-pointer, the thing that happens in NBA games all the time, you'll automatically receive $200. Just use bonus code CTAP200, CTAPP200, when you place your bet. Enjoy this NBA season like never before, with a variety of parlay selection features, boosted odds specials, daily promotions, and more. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in Kansas to bet. New customers offer. Promote subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
Call 913-363-9439. That's 913-363-9439. 913-363-9439. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for our e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Just visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/peaks-club to sign up today. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
4 months. 4 months is all it takes to become a pro in a new field, and one that is more in demand than ever, the career of IT. And in the IT field, Centric is the real MVP. Results speak for themselves, with 1,500 companies and counting that have hired Centric grads. Reach out to Russ Mondry today. He will walk you through your career options and discuss Centric's hands-on approach. Learn more at centric.com/610. That's CENTRIQ.com/610. IT is the future of Kansas City. Let Centric make it your future.
When you open up a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, you're unlocking potential. The potential to do your own thing. Be your own boss. Steer your own success. Blaze your own trail. Each and every Sprinter van built, designed, and equipped to let you hit the open road and take on any goal. To help you follow your passions, reawaken that spirit of adventure, check all of those big, bold, exciting experiences off your bucket list. Owning a Sprinter van lets you live, work, and play out your dreams wherever they take you. 16 body types, a choice of gas or diesel engine, thousands of ways to customize. It's capable and versatile enough to help drive your ambitions. And now you can win your own Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van customized by Gretsch RV by entering the Dan Patrick Show's Ultimate Fan Van Sweepstakes. To enter, get official rules, visit danpatrick.com for your chance to win the Sprinter van. So go ahead, now's the time. Unlock your potential inside a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. Well, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Motors Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Wendy's knows cold and soggy fries are the worst.
So soggy.
That's why we're serving up hot and crispy fries all day, every day.
And all night until close.
With natural cut potatoes, sea salted to perfection.
Show me that potato skin.
Wendy's hot and crispy aren't like other fries. We're your dream fry. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's hot and crispy fries.
Guaranteed to be hot and crispy. If yours aren't, bring them back and we'll replace them.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for Valentine's Day? Right now, generic Viagra, aka Sildenafil, is just $4 per dose at Roman. Just complete a free online visit with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. If medication is appropriate, Roman sends everything right to your door with free shipping and in discreet packaging. Go to ro.co/Viagra to get generic Viagra for just $4 per dose. Do it by February 8th for 20% off and guaranteed shipping by Valentine's Day. That's ro.co/Viagra.
I used to get frequent heartburn at night, so I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine.
One pill in the morning, 24 hours, zero heartburn with Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Mostly cloudy today, a little sun, high 43.
Weather brought to you by Pfizer and BioNTech. This winter, there are new COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. Schedule your updated COVID-19 booster dose at vaccines.gov.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
This is Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by Greenway Ford. It's a new day, a new way at the all-new Greenway Ford. After the Chiefs Red Half Hour, we will get into more on the Royals front. 2 trades in the last 24 hours. One confirmed by the team. That involved Michael A. Taylor getting sent to the Minnesota Twins for a couple of pitchers, including a lefty reliever. And then in the last 10 minutes or so, a report from Mark Feinsand, not confirmed yet by the Royals, that Alberto Mondesi has been traded to the Boston Red Sox for pitcher, another reliever, another lefty reliever, Josh Taylor, who was hurt all of last year for the Boston Red Sox. Also a player to be named later, reportedly included in the deal going back to Boston. So we'll talk more about the Royals, who are suddenly very transactional. J.J. Piccolo was supposed to meet with the media actually around 11 o'clock today, 11:15. They pushed it back, and now I think we have our answer why. He's going to talk around 12:15 or so. If anything noteworthy comes from that, we'll let you know. We won't. We certainly will make sure we're aware of what's going on there. But let's talk some Chiefs football. And other than the obvious, what's happened the last 3 times the Chiefs have played Cincinnati, 3 losses, we know that. But there's been big leads in those games for Kansas City in those games as well. And I think other than just getting to Joe Burrow and sacking him, the last game it was about the turnover. I mean, actually,
yeah, but not all 3 games, you know?
No, but like if you're looking at this last game, it was the turnover in particular. The Chiefs were going to win that game. The Chiefs were up 4, had the ball with 7 minutes to go, and were driving down the field. Then a costly turnover. Kelsey fumbles the ball, and they did not recover from that. It gave Cincinnati life, and Cincinnati, of course, ended up winning 27-24, just like they did in the AFC title game.
I think this is maybe the most concerning part about it, because normally you would just say, okay, this is an anomaly. We talk all the time about sample sizes, and is 3 games really enough of a sample size goal to determine everything about a team, everything about the way these matchups are going? Because the problem is they didn't lose the same way in any of the 3 of them. The last one, it's, as you mentioned, they controlled. It was a close game back and forth. Felt like they were going down to secure a win. Travis Kelce had a way uncharacteristic fumble. The game before that, Mahomes had his worst offensive half ever. Like, illogically bad, right? Very un-Mahomes-like. And then the time before that, Jamar Chase destroyed them, ruined their world. And that's how they lost. That's 3 very different ways they've blown 3 very good leads. I don't like that it keeps coming up different ways. In a weird way, if it was just one diagnosable thing, like you said, turnovers, then we could come into this game and be like, okay, it's pretty simple. You are better than Cincinnati. You always have a lead against Cincinnati. Just don't turn the ball over against Cincinnati and you'll win. But to me, it's more complicated than that. There's more than one thing at play for why they keep losing to this team. I think maybe the one consistent in all 3 of them is the pass rush. Yeah, I know you're saying, like, I think that the one consistent thing is, despite the fact they've had one of the worst offensive lines for all 3 of those games you've faced them, and they're going to be missing more offensive linemen again in this game, your inability to get to them is frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's pointed out too. The AFC title game also did end on a turnover. So the last 2 losses set turnovers by the Chiefs being essentially the final thing that crushed you and caused a loss. Now, I think we all agreed for them to win on Sunday, the formula is actually probably going to be a little bit different because of the ankle injury for Patrick Mahomes. You need your best offensive line performance in any of these 3 games, now 4, against Cincinnati.
No, but they didn't let up a sack in the last game against Cincinnati, right?
But you're not going to have that same mobility from Patrick Mahomes.
No,
whether we all think he's going to play or not, we do. None of us... We all know he's not going to be as mobile. He just simply will not be as mobile. To what extent? How does that change play calling? Is that why you leave in an extra tight end? All these things are up in the air. We don't have an answer for yet until we see it play out on Sunday. But the offensive line has to protect Patrick Mahomes as good as they have all season long for that ankle also to not be as much effect, to where he doesn't have to create he can make magic with his arm, but I'm not so sure he can do it with his feet and his legs in this game on Sunday. That's the difference. And then on the defensive side, yeah, it's going to be what we've discussed for the last year, which is when you get near Joe Burrow, can you actually bring him down? They got one sack in the regular season matchup, but that was Joe Burrow basically giving himself up. And it was Nick Bolden that got the sack, right? It counts, yes, but that's not the type of sacks that we're talking about, right? That was Joe Burrow essentially took a knee almost, and gave himself up.
They've gotten a consistent lack of pressure against him. It is concerning that and it's just them. Like last year, at least it's excusable, Gold. Think about it. They were like the third worst sack team in the NFL. Okay, so they didn't get to Joe Burrow. They didn't get to anybody, right? They were a genuinely bad sack team. They get sacks this year against everybody. But what did they do against Burrow the last time? Just the one. They've got multiple 5-sack games this year. They have several 2-3-sack games. Karlaftis is playing better. Playoff Frank is here all of a sudden. So it's not getting to Burrow. When they have 3 or 2 backup offensive linemen, you are the number 2 team in the NFL in sacks. It's kind of inexcusable. It's when you start saying, okay, well, this defensive line doesn't work and we're going to start fresh. That's where you start having the conversation like, maybe I don't need to pay Chris Jones $30 million because this collection of defensive linemen, if they're not going to get to this line in this situation, considering what's on the line again, then what are we doing here? The grouping doesn't work because in the big games, they don't come through. And they did. In the Super Bowl run, they did.
Well, they were able to close out games. It's
this year a lot.
That's been a struggle against Cincinnati. Actually closing out games against them, and whether it was the turnovers or whatever it comes up, but they have struggled to close out games even when they've had leads. And I hope they're in a position where they have a lead early on in this game. We mentioned this looking at the first quarter for the Bengals, right? Second best team in football, first quarter points. Now the Chiefs are 5th, so it's not like the Chiefs are far behind. But Cincinnati, they put up a stat during the game on Sunday, and it was like 34-0 or 39-0, something like that, in terms of first quarter points. Their last 4 games, so they have been able, Cincinnati actually, to jump out early on teams. We'll see if that's the case again on Sunday. I think we'll have a good feel fairly early on the game on Sunday. With Mahomes, what's really possible, and I think you do have to trust Andy on this part, which is we mentioned how great he is as a play designer and scheming it up. They have been able to make adjustments to their personnel as good as anybody in football. You get to a point in the Super Bowl against Tampa where you just don't have the offensive line to do it, right? You just don't have it, okay? And you got manhandled. They're healthy on the offensive line heading into this game, but Andy's adjustment to, having, we already know Jerick McKinnon's going to stay in and block. He's done that all year. Does Jody Fortson get activated so you can have Blake Bell stay in and Fortson, whatever?
Sure seemed like he tweeted out a tornado. Right. The storm is coming.
Well, I hope so.
And they cut Chris Lamont, so there's an open spot.
And maybe he gets back on Sunday for special team. We'll see how that all that plays out and who they activate for roster space. They didn't have Buechele active on Sunday now because all that stuff is in play in terms of the roster. But I think in terms of adjusting based off of the health of Mahomes, we may not know all week long. Andy knows what grade it is. He claimed he didn't know yesterday. He's not going to tell the media what kind of ankle sprain it is or whatever.
He didn't even say he didn't know. He said, I don't have that for you.
Yeah, okay.
Or he's just choosing not to have it for you.
Either way, they know how limited Mahomes is going to be more than any of us, right? They deep down, they know the answer to that.
Yes.
And they may not have the clear answer today on Tuesday. They'll know by Friday, what's realistic for us. The one thing, he struggled just handing the ball off on times on some
of the... They kept running that stretch play.
That was a problem. Do they have to make an adjustment? Is that not feasible? We don't know, right? But that's the kind of stuff that we're not going to know until the game gets going on Sunday.
It's so weird because you're run the offense that you are comfortable running and that you should, but then you're also in the middle of that game, you're you can't keep running that play. You got to call something else. Yeah. Stop making him go all the way to the outside.
You remember in the first matchup though this year, and you can decide whether you think it's a huge deal or not. Joe Thuney did not play, and you said they didn't sack him anyway, but they had Allegretti who did a nice job, but Joe Thuney did not play.
Shut him down in the second half though again.
Yeah, Joe Thuney did not play in that first matchup in the regular season, and of course he is going to be available for the game on Sunday.
It's so because with this team, the interior of the offensive line is still the best in the NFL. It just is. Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Joe Thuney. They have the best left guard. They have the best center, and they have a very good right guard right now. And it's very clear to me that they have, if not the best, one of the best interior offensive lines in the NFL. But then the tackles, it's just what day are you going to get? And you know how I know people hate Orlando Brown is because he said, He's like, when those injuries happen, you're forced to play even harder. And like, why aren't you playing your hardest already? And you're like, okay, just rein it in. That's what he's supposed to say, okay? That's the comment he's supposed to make. Like the comments of people like looking to go after Orlando Brown. You're like, relax, all right? I get it. He's if we made a list of the 5 people are most likely to blame if the Chiefs lose on Sunday, Orlando Brown's on the list. So is Steve Spagnuolo. So is Dave Tobe. I'm trying to think about who else is. It's not going to be Mahomes. You think Eric Bieniemy? It's not going to be Reed.
Oh, if guessing if the Chiefs lose in the first
Some
names,
corner,
that
one
people
of the corner. Oh, Nick Bolton. People like to blame Nick Bolton for things sometimes.
I mean, the short
Chris
list of who gets blamed, without even knowing how the game is going.
Yeah.
The number one will be Spags, just because that's just how this goes.
Orlando Brown.
Probably Brown. I think somebody will always blame Eric Bieniemy. That's what for whatever reason always happens. So yeah, and that definitely would come up. Mm-hmm.
Just a consistent grouping. Just of the same people that we want to blame every single.
That's pretty safe.
Fairness, when they've lost games this year, they've had a consistent flavor to them. Of course, I don't know. Last year, I don't think we were anticipating blaming Patrick Mahomes coming out of the game, but, that's what happened.
I know who people will blame if the Chiefs do get to a Super Bowl and things are a little iffy with officiating, because it is official from the NFL. Carl Cheffers is the Super Bowl referee this year in Arizona. That is true. Now, as Vinnie Pasquantino pointed out, this is definitely a spoiled, rotten Kansas City sports fan mentality where we're worried about the official in the Super Bowl. A lot of teams just happy to get to Super Bowl, and the Chiefs have to, first of all, win on Sunday. But Carl Cheffers will be the official if the Chiefs were to advance to the Super Bowl. That's the guy that they will have to deal with.
You seem way too calm about this.
Here's why I'm not freaking out yet. Because they haven't made the Super Bowl yet. If the Chiefs win on Sunday, absolutely, I'll be right there with you freaking out about Carl Cheffers being the official. But you know why I'm not going to freak out yet? Because if the Chiefs lose on Sunday, which we have audio of you saying you hope happens, then I won't care if Carl Cheffers is the official in the Super Bowl. At that point, I really won't give a damn whatsoever. But you tell me.
I hope they lose to Cincinnati now. So I yelled earlier in the show when this news broke, and I think that is still the appropriate reaction to it. But let me give you the more calm take. This is egregious, offensive, a huge mistake, a catastrophic error by the NFL, and Chiefs fans should be outright mad that this is the case. I understand they still have to beat Cincinnati in order to go to the game. But this ref, Carl Cheffers, has a vendetta against Kansas City. Travis Kelce once said he wasn't good enough to work at Foot Locker. He openly cried at Arrowhead earlier this year, in which he was rained down with booze on his way out the building. That only happened because he had previously blown a different game against the Chiefs. Go through their history. The Chiefs are worse when he referees. He calls more penalties against the Chiefs than any other team in the NFL. Also, he calls more penalties than any ref crew in the NFL anyway. Why would you want this for your product? Think about all the money, everything you have on a Super Bowl, everything on the line, and you decide that the guy you'd like to be in charge of that, who referees what? The ugliest damn games imaginable?
No foul on the play for a block in the back. Timeout.
What's the goal, right?
Somehow
why him? How is he the best official you have? There's just no damn way. He was the official for the Tampa one. It was a couple of years ago. We're doing this again?
He's been official in 2 Super Bowls. This will be his 3rd, I believe. And basically the reasoning from Kevin Seifert from ESPN says that Cheffers was the frequency in him getting so many Super Bowls, this will be his 3rd, is it's due in part internal grades, which somehow he's grading out well internally.
Well, that speaks to your own poor system.
Right.
That's
but
not
also,
great.
because of the significant turnover recently among refs, that leaves a limited pool. So this goes back to when you and I talking about they need full-time officials and a much better training at lower levels. They don't. Basically, they're saying we have such bad officiating, so few of officials, Cody, that he's the best that we got.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do the job. It pays like $200,000 a year. I'll leave Cody and Gold. They can train me, and I'll become a full-time NFL official, okay? I'll just do it in what are we doing here?
With your foot, they won't allow you, man. You got to be able to run on the field.
I'll figure it out.
You have to. Is there like an NFL training referee training camp thing?
Yeah, no, I mean,
combine.
I don't. But you have to be physically able to.
Why? What's it matter? He can't see, and somehow he gets to do the job.
Cody
Did they give him an eye exam?
Cody won the 6'10" combine at one point.
He did. A couple years ago.
That was pre-foot, probably, but I'll figure it out.
Long time ago.
I'll figure that out.
Tax line's not happy with you anyway, so I don't know if they want you officiating.
I don't blame him.
think they want you officiating. You can't officiate when there's audio now of you saying you want.
So I hope they lose to Cincinnati now.
The Chiefs to lose to Cincinnati.
Only because I was mad about Sheffers. I've made it very clear that is not the case, and that I would like the Chiefs to win, and that I also expect them to win.
I will join you in the completely.
No, you're being too
fair.
reasonable. Be upset. Be upset for Chiefs fans. Why aren't you backing them up?
I don't want Carl Sheffers, but today is Tuesday, January 24th. There is a football game on Sunday the Chiefs have to win before I can freak out about the ref in the damn Super Bowl.
You're being too reasonable.
Well, I'm sorry. You know that's usually how I am. I also am rooting for the Chiefs to win on Sunday, unlike you.
Which I've made very clear.
But you haven't.
You can replay. That's one time. I hope they lose to Cincinnati. I've said 100 times on this show that I want them to win. You can play that as many times as you want.
Yeah, but Cody, you know this. You only have to say that you want them to lose once, and it will be over. It will overshadow all the times.
Or you can pick them to lose
From
once,
the
like you.
816, Cody might be the ultimate scapegoat if the Bengals win.
Yep.
I don't think that's the case.
It's shameful. It's shameful what you've done to yourself.
Yeah, you know.
And I used to think you were a Chiefs fan.
You know,
even when I said the Chiefs might lose.
No, you said they would.
No, I thought that there was a chance they could lose. I was still rooting hard.
You predicted them to lose.
He's hard. Just to be clear, it's already decided for a fact. When we make our predictions on Friday, and I say, "Hey, the Chiefs are going to win," and you say the Chiefs are going to win, Alex, Nick absolutely has already made it very clear he's going to pick Cincinnati to win this game.
I don't think that's true at all. It's not true, in fact.
Which way are you leaning? It's Tuesday.
I'm leaning towards Kansas City heavily. Heavily? Yeah, I think it's a Chiefs blowout.
Okay.
Remember when he said they didn't have Super Bowl vibes?
I do. See, this is what Cody does. Anytime
there is the audio of you saying the Chiefs don't have Super Bowl vibes. You know they're a game away from going to the Super Bowl.
No, I think that this clip is being overplayed.
No, anytime.
I'd like to defend myself.
Anytime somebody comes at you and says, like, hey, you did this thing, or you shouldn't have done this thing, your natural inclination is just to find something I can call somebody else out on.
Correct.
Instead of addressing the issue, which is you saying you are actively
it's because I care
against
more.
the Chiefs.
It's because I cared more about this news than I do.
Here's how much
I think Chiefs fans care about this
Here's how much
news.
of a Chiefs fan I am. Okay?
Oh gosh.
I think we should kill Carl Sheffers with kindness. Let me finish.
No.
Can you let me finish? I said we should kill him with kindness.
That's what I suggested yesterday.
I say as soon as that guy's plane touches down and you see him walking through the airport.
Like applaud him?
You walk right up to him and you kill him with kindness. You say, sir, I hope you have a great time in Kansas City.
Luckily, he won't be in Kansas City again until next season.
Oh, that's true. Well, if you see him in
Arizona,
in Scottsdale,
Glendale,
whatever, dude. Let's not get lost in the details.
True. Text line's a great one, Nick, of course.
To kill him with kindness?
It says, yes, kill him with kindness.
With kindness, guys, with kindness.
Terrible.
Come on. You guys have never heard that saying? Have you guys seriously never heard that saying?
Text line thinks that we also should play the Arrowhead, Arrowvision. They didn't play, I was there, they did not play Trevor Lawrence's cut saying that it's not going to be that loud. So we should get them to play the audio of Cody saying, I hope they don't.
Is that, you think I'm going to be the like Eli Apple and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor, literally every single member of the Cincinnati Bengals team talking trash to the Chiefs roster in the entire NFL.
They're going to play you.
That's going to be Cincinnati now. That's going to be the thing that motivates them. Well, if it motivates them, then I guess I get to take credit. So they beat Cincinnati, then I get to take credit for it motivating them past the top.
Okay.
So hooray, I guess, is what I'm saying. I hope that we're having that conversation on Monday.
As do I, man.
Be very awkward if it goes the other way.
People are saying also, just the people, our great listeners, that on your Twitter, what's your Twitter handle?
Cody B Tap.
Cody B Tap?
Wait, that's what we're putting out? That's my middle
people are right. They think the B stands for Bengals. They think Cody Bengals Tap.
Really, dude?
I think it's Cody Bengals Tap.
Really, Cody? That's what it's been standing for this whole time?
Cody, but he's told us a Bancroft this whole time. Cody
which is made up, which that's not even a real name.
Gold is also too selfish. He is consistently called the Chiefs color yellow because he will not give up his name, gold, to share
Well, it has
with
nothing
the
to do with
Chiefs.
my name. It's just the Chiefs aren't red and gold as far as I'm concerned. It's more of a yellow color.
He says it's red and yellow, not red and gold. I'm saying he is selfishly holding on to gold for himself.
What?
Doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Neither, just saying B stands for Bengals. We're just making up nonsense now.
Well, no, they said it stands for Bengals, not Bangles. So you got it. You must have heard gold incorrect.
We actually made it a really long time talking about this team this year without you correcting me.
You know what, though? You know who doesn't? You know who hasn't missed it? The text line. Who brings it up every single day?
I can't help it at this point.
But you can. Just say it correctly.
No, we all say words wrong, and we let the rest of them go on this show.
Which words do Golden Eye say wrong?
Wolf. He says wolf wrong every time.
1065 the Wolf.
Oh, it's wolf every time.
1065 the Wolf.
There's no L there.
I think it sounds fine.
1065 the Wolf.
Okay, name one word I say incorrectly.
There's one more, but I can't think of it now. I'll point it out the next time. Okay. You don't talk enough. I'm not sure.
I don't talk enough? Maybe you talk too damn much. You ever considered that? You won't shut the hell up.
Oh, man.
There's one more with you, and I can't remember what it is. But I just let it go.
I'm sure.
Because I'm kind.
No, you don't let it go because see, what you do is you hold them for moments like this. You store them away like ammunition.
Oh, goodness. It's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday.
Doesn't feel like it, does it?
It's only Tuesday. It's a lot.
We're arguing like Chiefs and Bengals fans.
A lot of Bengals talk. A lot of Bengals talk. And yeah, I have let the Bengals slide. I haven't let you. I
appreciate that, honestly.
I have not pointed.
And then
it
you
out.
pointed it out. So. Yeah.
No, I just pointed out that what the B stands for in your initial. Nick, I think, brought up the pronunciation.
Oh, okay.
That's why I think you're safe. Just Cincy. Just say Cincy.
Well, I thought we had this discussion last year.
Yeah,
you know?
we did.
Just go with Cincy
or Cincinnati.
It's easier to say Cincy or Cincinnati, and you're safe.
Okay.
Coming up next, we'll get to what's trending in the luxury the Chiefs will not have this weekend.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Subscribe and download all new episodes of Nick's Wavin' in the Wheat podcast, released every Thursday on the 435 Podcast Network and the Odyssey app.
What's the best decision you've ever made? For me, it's pretty simple. It was calling my friends over at Dury Vision and finding out, first of all, was I a candidate for SPK Advanced LASIK? I was told years ago that I'd never be able to get it. It just wasn't a possibility. But your eyes do change. Mine sure did. Technology improves and changes. That absolutely happened. And I found that out because when I went to my consultation, I found out I was that candidate. 2 days later, I went in and had my procedure with my friends over at Dury Vision. And the very next day, I was right back to driving to work and right back in the studio at 610. You can improve your vision, your life, with LASIK. It is that simple. Imagine never having to put in your contacts again, never struggling with foggy glasses on a cold day. All of that can be changed by calling my friends at Dury Vision. And right now is a great time to find out if you're a candidate as well, because they've extended their friends and family promotion to offer a savings of up to $1,000 on LASIK for a limited time only. You can visit DuryVision.com or schedule a free consultation to learn more. That phone number is 913-491-3330.
The NFL playoffs are here, and the easiest way to get into the action is with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. New customers get started with $150 in free bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. All on it. Safe, secure, and super easy to use. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with promo code WIN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. Must be present in select states to wager. First online real money wager only. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbookfanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. For Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, West Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 Wyoming, Kansas, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. 1-877-770-STOP Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. 467-369 in New York. TN Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Is it time to update your kitchen or bathroom? The team at Aspire Kitchen and Bath can help. They'll listen to your ideas and put together the perfect plan to fit your dream and your budget. Set up your no-cost, hassle-free consultation today at AspireKitchenandBath.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Now that we have started a new year, think about ways you can help the environment. First, make the switch to green soaps and personal products, and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. Use towels made from materials like organic cotton. And finally, make the switch to LED lights, which can last for many years and use very little power. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
The Kansas City Chiefs are looking to win the championship, and Metro Ford is winning with new inventory coming in and opportunities to make great deals. View our inventory online at kcmetroford.com. You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Chiefs Kingdom, this is Mitch Holtis. Catch me every Monday at 4 with C-Dot on the Drive. Hamburgers? Maybe. Chiefs football? Definitely. On your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending, the Royals being very active in the last 24 hours. One trade is official. That involves Michael A. Taylor going to the Minnesota Twins. A couple of pitching prospects, including a left-handed pitcher, coming back to Kansas City. We'll talk a bit more about that. Also, Alberto Mondesi, according to reports, has been traded to the Boston Red Sox for left-handed relief pitcher Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor out all last season due to an injury. We have not gotten the official word from the Royals, but multiple reports now say that the deal is done. A player to be named later also involved in the trade, but the end of the Alberto Mondesi era, I think at some point in time, as much as the talent, of course, is still there, you get sick of not being able to rely on a player. It is kind of time to just wipe your hands clean and be done with it and move on. And I feel like that's where it got to finally.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor was a very good major league reliever for the 2 years he was healthy in 19 and 21. He was hurt in 20 and 2022. So, I mean, you're not getting much. I'm not going to try to tell you and be like, wow, what a haul you got. You got way more for Michael A. Taylor than you got for Mondesi, which would seem egregious based on the kind of prospect he was. But honestly, he's played in less than half of the games over the last 4 years.
It's time to move on.
He couldn't stay healthy, and it really started to feel that way. Next up on What's Trending, Kansas has dropped its third game in a row after losing to Baylor last night, 75-69. Number 5 K-State will be in action and play number 12 Iowa State tonight at 8, and Missouri will take on Ole Miss tonight at 6. I know that Kansas fans freak out in the middle of every year, but still, dropping their third in a row, that's very un-Bill Self and very un-Kansas-like, generally speaking.
No kidding, man. It's been frustrating. It's been brutal to watch. Brutal to watch. They got all kinds of issues right now. I'm sure they will eventually turn it around to a certain extent, but it's definitely been brutal to watch the last 3 games out for the Kansas Jayhawks, and last night was another one. They're just not getting good play for their guards. It really is the Jalen Wilson show right now. That's about all they got going for them.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, they're just counting on him and him alone to solve their problems. Grady Dick can't hit a 3, and nobody else can see me. They're not deep. That's what's really been exposed. They're not deep.
I'm just waiting for the next Wave in the Wheat podcast because I need to hear the plan. I need to hear what the plan is going to look like from Nick Schwartz. Like, how do you fix it, Nick? How do they solve this? That better be on the next Wave in the Wheat podcast.
Some of these guys that have not been good need to just magically get better.
That's the answer.
So the guys who
that does happen under Bill Self sometimes.
So the guys who haven't been dudes need to become dudes. By the way, I fully expect the Hawks to rip off like 9 in a row and win the Big 12 by a game. We've seen this story about 15 times before.
We have. I would argue the Big 12's better now than it has been in some of those years where they've done it.
See, I would argue it's not.
No?
No.
Okay.
Because here's what will happen. K-State, Texas, Baylor, they will also have a stretch where they lose 2 of 3 or 3 of 6.
Hopefully,
it happens all
if you're a KU
the
fan.
time.
Here's the latest odds to win the Big 12, though, for the first time all year. Kansas State, the favorite to win the Big 12 conference, plus 250. The Jayhawks still have the second best odds, 3-1. Of course, those two teams are going to play each other in Lawrence very, very soon, next week, I think it is. And then Texas, plus 450. Baylor, plus 490 to win the Big 12, as everything's starting to get a little more jumbled right now. But that win in Manhattan for the Wildcats obviously continues to look even bigger.
Kansas State play again, next week?
Yep. That is correct. Next up on What's Trending, Bill O'Brien back with the New England Patriots. They have officially announced he's the offensive coordinator. The normal cycle of be head coach in the NFL, get fired, go to Nick Saban, be the OC, and then get another job. This time it's not another head coaching job, but the old butt chin of Bill O'Brien is back in Foxborough.
In retrospect, Bill O'Brien's been the single best coach off of the Bill Belichick coaching tree, probably. And their offense was awful last year. Letting Patricia run it was a horrid decision, so having Bill O'Brien back in-house is certainly the right call. Lastly, on What's Trending, former Kansas City Chiefs assistant Mike Scaffa will have a second interview with the Texans today. He's expected to be one of the front runners for that job. I think D'Amico Ryans is expected to be the front runner for that job. But I think Kafka's a real contestant there, as well as in Carolina, where they're both expected to probably have new quarterbacks going into next year.
Lastly, on What's Trending, the Royals announced their promotions for the 2023 season. Opening day? How about on opening day, a Bobby Witt Jr. bobblehead? Just right out of the gate.
An opening day.
Normally, let's be honest, it's like the 2023 magnet schedule or whatever, right? Which
actually, honestly, big fan. Those end up on my fridge every year.
Same. I still have like the 2021 magnet on my fridge, as a matter of fact. Nothing, but normally that's the opening day giveaway, and I'm sure that I've seen the full list, but I'm guessing that'll happen. But no, right out of the gate, against the Twins on that Thursday, Bobby Witt Jr. bobblehead giveaway. Also, now friend of the show, MJ Melendez has a create your own bobblehead coming out in the first week. I'm guessing it comes in pieces and you put it together. I don't know. How is it? It's still his bobblehead, but
do I get to choose the order or the pieces?
I don't know. There's like different jerseys. I have no
idea. Most importantly of all, in mid-April, there is finally, after many complaints from myself to the Royals organization, and me specifically requesting to their media department that this exists, UMKC night coming to the K. They had K-State night, Kansas night, Missouri night, Nebraska Huskers night. Come get a UMKC night. We're back. We're in. Not back. Here for the first time.
I'll peel back the curtain for all of you. So during the break,
very excited.
The email comes through. We're both looking at the promotional calendar. I mentioned the Bobby Witt Jr. bobblehead. Cody screams at the top. Scared me, honest. I didn't know it was wrong.
Shocked.
Cody screamed at the top of his lungs, UMKC night. Very much louder than that, by the way.
Yeah,
and
probably.
I've never seen you that excited.
Very excited. I have specifically. I'm dead serious.
So you're taking credit. You're taking credit.
No, I'm not taking credit because it took 3 years. I've been asking for 3 years for this.
Okay.
There's no way I can take credit if it takes 3 years. Somebody else more important at UMKC got this done.
Okay. How the Roos looking so far?
Not great. No? But I will be in attendance for UMKC night at the K.
Do you think? Are you hoping?
We should all go together. Team ticket.
Are you hoping that they let you throw out the first pitch or something for that night, or what? As a esteemed UMKC grad, you know.
That's a good point.
Do you think
will you ask? Let's get Sam Mellinger on the line. Let's find out if we can make that happen. Is he the person in charge of that?
I mean, I don't think that's his in his realm there. I don't think he's in charge of promotions.
No, but it feels like he's important enough.
He that is true.
Maybe I could put Vinny on it. You think Vinny would?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sure he wants to focus on that for you. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Reminder coming up at 1 o'clock. Nate Taylor from The Athletic going to join us in studio. get his thoughts, of course, on everything that's already transpired this week. It's only Tuesday, but there's a lot of trash talk going on in Cincinnati heading into this game. Of course, get Nate's perspective. What is Nate hearing? He's well connected in the Chiefs organization. What's he hearing about the ankle for one Patrick Mahomes? And, of course, seeing the Chiefs as home underdogs for only the second time in Patrick Mahomes' career. That is reality heading into the AFC title game. But also, Playoff Frank is back. This happens. This is what he does. He gets a sack last week against the Jags, and now he is tied for fourth all-time with Reggie White for the most postseason sacks in NFL history. I'll go back to the quote that came out. I think it was James Palmer that had tweeted it out right before kickoff, and he was talking about the groin injury for Frank last week. And he said, Frank feels great. He's like, he feels scary, I think was the exact quote. And he feels different. Like, clearly he knows he's different. Like, he had a different feeling heading into that game. And come playoff time, for whatever reason, Frank Clark is a different football player. I'm not saying he's on playoff Frank level of 2019, where he certainly was ridiculous that entire postseason on the way to Super Bowl.
Good start, though.
But one sack already in the bag, and he has a chance before this. If the Chiefs were to win on Sunday and get to Super Bowl, he could end up moving up, Cody, with another sack or so. He could be like third all-time in postseason sacks in his career.
He's going to end up there. I don't know who he's playing for next year. I don't think it's the Chiefs, but
maybe a playoff team.
I guess at this point, it certainly seems likely he could end up with a playoff team because Carlos Dunlap and others, I would feel like you're having the argument conversation that is those guys will, like Frank Clark is going to become that. He's going to become the let's sign Suggs, let's sign Dunlap, let's find the veteran pass rusher who's going to get us 6 to 7 sacks, and then come playoff time, we can count on him. Frank Clark's definitely going to just be bouncing around from playoff team to playoff team. That feels like his future eventually, if it doesn't end up that he's back in Kansas City, which seems unlikely, I guess, at this point, although I wasn't confident he was going to be back each of the last 2 seasons. And yet we're back with playoff Frank, and that's the case. To me, it wasn't just that one sack. He was a different player in that game. And he talked leading up to it. Like,
that's what's
Frank
cool
Clark's been quiet all year. He gets one pregame interview with James Palmer, and all he does is says, I'm coming for you. That's it. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for everybody. Watch out, I'm back. He must be feeling healthy or something because he hadn't said anything all year, stepped in, and then is like, I feel great, and I'm coming for this postseason. And honestly, at this point, it completely changes my perspective of how much I was counting on Frank Clark this postseason. Because now he's set a new standard for himself, and I'm counting on being a part of a trio of pass rushers that can get to the quarterback at any particular moment. Jones, Karlaftis, and Clark.
Yeah, but playoff football clearly is it's a different animal. You have Frank Clark who finds a way to play at a different level in the postseason, and then on the flip side, it's unpredictable because Chris Jones is having a career year, and yet he still can't get the playoff sack. It's just weird how that works out.
I know.
I would argue that Chris Jones being Chris Jones also is why Frank Clark was able to get
He was
the sack.
impactful in that game, and people don't want to hear it anymore because
Yep.
it's weird because like one sack would just change everyone's opinion.
That's
of
it.
this.
Get the one sack in the postseason, and
We'll stop
then
talking about it.
That's right. That's exactly how it would work. And I'm sure nobody wants that one sack more than
You know what?
Chris Jones.
Is it fair to say that this whole thing has been a little bit overblown about Chris Jones, given what Frank Clark has done?
It's too many games, man.
But
It's
it
like
doesn't.
12, 13 games.
But Cody, it doesn't matter when you have another guy who is having a historical run sacking the quarterback. So what are we actually complaining about? If you're getting the production from somewhere, why does it matter that one guy is not doing it as much as another guy? It's just a perception game. You're still getting after the
you know what it
quarterback.
is?
It's
We
just
didn't
not the
care
guy
in-
you expect it to be.
Here's the thing. We didn't care Chris Jones didn't have a playoff sack when Frank Clark was getting there winning the Super Bowl. But then last year when they weren't getting any playoff sacks, I care that it's not Chris Jones.
But if Frank Clark
because
wants
he's
to do
the one I got to count on.
But if Frank Clark wants
Then
to
I don't
get
care.
3.5 sacks this postseason, then I don't care.
Chiefs win the
Chris
Super Bowl
Jones
and Frank
does.
Clark, if you're saying Frank Clark gets 3.5 sacks and the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I don't care how many Chris Jones has. You're right. I don't. And he maybe helps, as Gold pointed out, get those guys those sacks. But the problem is we always assume that to get those sacks, we're going to need them from Chris Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a fair assessment of how the narrative goes with that, which is if you're winning, right, winning cures all. All of a sudden, criticism's not nearly as high when you're winning. If the Chiefs' season ends on Sunday and you say the Chiefs only got one sack or no sacks and one of them wasn't Chris Jones, they lose. People are going to be very frustrated, and it's also going to be in an offseason where he's going to likely want to be what was the estimates? Janetti from Spot Track gave 4 for 120. Is that right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Or 3?
Yeah. No, 4 for 120.
Yeah, 4 for 1, not 3. 4 for 120.
4 for what? 3 for 120?
4 for 120.
That's quarterback money.
Yeah, 4 for 120. But yeah, I mean, look, good for Frank Clark. I've told you, there's other than just the thrill of seeing the Chiefs make it to another Super Bowl. The moment that I'm most looking forward to if the Chiefs can win on Sunday, I keep saying, but truly is the post-game on-field interview with Frank Clark. I mean, it will be incredible considering all the trash talk that's coming out of Cincinnati this week. Burrowhead, right? You got Mike Hilton out here saying this on the sidelines.
We'll see y'all in Burrowhead. Yeah, baby. Let that see in your mind. We'll see y'all in Burrowhead.
Damn, they won 2 games in Arrowhead, and they just straight up tried to rename it.
In Burrowhead.
That's pretty good.
Can you make a commitment to all of us here on the show, real quick? Can you make a commitment?
I don't know. You guys.
Can you make a commitment?
There's been like a month in a row that we're doing this, so it's hard to say. Maybe.
Do you know what the commitment is?
No.
Okay. If Frank Clark gets a sack or Chris Jones, you make a playoff Frank song or a playoff Chris song, a Sack Nation song, something. You'll have 2 weeks to get it ready.
Okay.
If they win on Sunday, you'll have 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. We'll play it, Radio Row, Super Bowl, and it'll be a Frank Clark type of set. You can even do a live performance on Radio Row. Get some eyeballs on everybody.
Certainly get some eyeballs.
Uh-huh.
There's no doubt about that.
Well, you commit. If Frank or Chris get a sack and they win on Sunday, there's either the playoff Frank sack song, and you can talk about sharks and everything, and you can maybe you can do a spinoff of what's the one, Baby Shark or whatever it is,
Baby Shark
or whatever. Yeah. You can do your own spin on that, or you can just come up with something Sack Nation related.
That would be the easiest song ever. Just play off Frank. That's it.
Play off Frank. Yeah,
that's the whole song. I mean, that one I could do like today.
It's got to be a little bit more than that.
I feel like we should probably shoot for a different song than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will commit to a song.
And text line is actually one game at Arrowhead, I guess. Cincy won, not 2, 1.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, you could do playoff Frank to the tune of T-Pain, Buy You a Drink. That's, I think, right up your alley. That is right up your alley. And unlike Baby Shark, it won't be super annoying after hearing it the second time.
Someone says if it's Frank Clark theme, you got to kind of go old school. Someone says old school Compton theme.
Old school Compton theme.
Mm-hmm. He's from that.
I don't want to hear Cody rap.
I kind of do. I kind of do.
But the thing about doing a T-Pain is you get to do the auto-tune, and that'll automatically make it sound better.
That's true.
So will you commit to some sort of song related to Chris or Frank? If either gets a sack and they win, they have to win on Sunday. Otherwise, nobody's going to care.
I will commit to that.
That's a commitment.
That's a commitment.
We got it.
That's a verbal commitment.
Okay. Good. Lock it in. Thank you for that.
That is breaking news. It's important breaking news on this show.
I think so. There was a little. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's. Maybe you're about to break this news as well.
I know where you're going. We'll get to Adalberto Mondesi and the trade that reportedly has gone down, sending Adalberto Mondesi to Boston in just a second. But Nick, I guess, had something as well. Yes.
Yeah. So every day at noon on the show, we do a segment called "What's Trending." We talk about the things that are trending in sports today. And earlier this afternoon, I mean, no more than 10 minutes ago, we were discussing the fact that Kansas State is now the betting favorite to win the Big 12.
Correct, yeah.
But as we know, Kansas has the pedigree, Bill Self, and all the conference titles, and those two teams will be playing each other next week.
But next Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday in Allen Fieldhouse. Gold had actually, during What's Trending, mentioned that those two teams were playing next week.
And then I said it too.
And no more than 10 seconds later, and no less than 24 hours after doing the exact same thing yesterday, Cody Tapp, not paying attention, strikes again.
Kansas State, the favorite to win the Big 12 Conference, plus 250. The Jayhawks still have the second best odds, 3-1. Of course, those two teams are going to play each other in Lawrence very, very soon, next week, I think it is. And then Texas, plus 450. Baylor, plus 490 to win the Big 12, as everything's starting to get a little more jumbled right now. But that win in Manhattan for the Wildcats obviously continues to look even bigger.
Kansas State play again, next week?
Oh, my gosh. I actually like that more because sometimes he'll repeat it as a statement.
Yeah.
I like it more as he asks,
a question. He also asked a question. We both asked a question. Do you have the answer?
They do play next Tuesday.
They do.
Next
Confirmed.
Tuesday, the 31st. It is confirmed.
Go and lock that into your
Allen Fieldhouse.
schedule.
Yesterday's was worse. Yesterday's was worse.
You
than
think
that
so?
one.
Less time had passed.
This was quick. Yesterday's was worse than what we just heard.
Yeah, those are the ones that, I wouldn't have known that he did it unless somebody on the text line alerted me.
They're quick.
Which makes me wonder how many of these slip through the cracks each week.
None, because the text line doesn't ever miss. The text line's never missed a single one. They were trying to accuse you earlier of one, and I was like, I don't know. I'm not looking
Of me?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I missed it, and then I was like, I'm not digging through this right now. So they never miss. Text line never misses.
Gosh, they catch everything.
The Royals reportedly have traded Alberto Mondesi to the Boston Red Sox for a reliever, left-handed reliever Josh Taylor, and the Royals are expected to have a press conference, and I think right now, right, was when they rescheduled it to, and so we may get official word from the Royals. But Alberto Mondesi, the talent has always been there, right? Like nobody's ever questioned the talent. It's why you held on to him as long as you did as well, right? But we all know the story for him. 90% of the conversation was always like, if healthy, oh, he's going to play 25 games for you, Cody. Oh, but then he's out for another 30. And it sucks. Nobody, clearly this guy's injury prone, plain and simple. I mean, nobody wants to see anybody that has talent like that. But at some point in time, I do think there is almost a sense of relief. Like you just wipe your hands clean, man, and be done with it, because you can't keep a guy around any longer at this point, especially with a new regime and kind of a change of not only manager, new guy in charge, and JJ Piccolo as well. Like, it's time to move on. I have no problem with the move. It's not like they got a great return by any means for him, but it's time to move on, man. You cannot bank on him being available. And as much, you're right, you said it, you wish him the best in Boston. I think there will always still be the fear from Royals fans, though, that watch him go and suddenly not be injured in Boston. Not that you
good
want
for him.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, I don't believe he's suddenly going to just make it a full season in baseball, because he's never done it in his big league career.
As JJ Piccolo just said a couple of minutes ago, as they're doing press availability, we can play any clips later. He said, Bobby Wood Jr. is our shortstop. That's the mindset you have to have. Like, he's your shortstop. He didn't perform well enough defensively there last year. The organization probably doesn't think he's as good of a defensive shortstop as Mondesi, but he's going to hit, and he's going to be on the field. Bobby Wood Jr. is on the field. And a lot of this doesn't even have anything to do with Bobby Wood Jr. This just opened things up for him. It opens things up for center field and Drew Waters or Kyle Isbell. It lets them evaluate.
With the Michael A. Taylor trade, it certainly opens up center field.
Yeah, well, for everybody, right? It's just now everything is a little more open. If you decide to trade Dozier, who's another player, reportedly the Royals have shopped around a little bit, then you are wide open and you can make your decisions. Honestly, this isn't about, you feel bad saying this because I like Mondesi, and I had incredibly high hopes for his ability. He's one of the biggest busts in Kansas City sports history. Think about the guys, because this is how you rank them. Where they were taken, how highly they were thought of, and by the time they got to their inevitable sport, whether it be baseball, basketball, whatever, football, where were they? So if you were a top 5 pick, right, Todd Blackledge is one of the biggest busts in Kansas City sports history. Or Jonathan Baldwin, who's a first-round pick.
Ryan Sims.
Sims.
These are the names that come to mind. A lot of them are NFL-related, but
Look,
sure.
In baseball, it's a little bit different because you can take guys in the first round like Luke Hochevar. You can take him 1-1 overall, but Luke Hochevar helped this team win a championship. And in baseball, by the time Hochevar came to the big leagues, he wasn't being talked about like he was going to be the next Clayton Kershaw. He got to the big leagues. People had hope for his ability. Mondesi got called up in the World Series because of how highly the organization thought about him. He started opening day despite players in the minors having better track record. Whit Merrifield came in, played a half a season, played great for the Royals. They then benched him the following season to start the year to again play Adalberto Mondesi. They made bad organizational decisions around this player.
Well, because you fell in love with the talent.
Because he's so talented.
Yeah, and understand.
I hope it still comes together. I do. I don't wish him any ill. I hope he gets healthy. I hope he gets to play. But
as do I. But I'll be honest, I'm glad that they're finally trading him. I am too. Like at the same time,
you're ready of asking the question in April and saying, is he going to stay healthy this year?
I think I feel like most Royals fans are like sick of that. You can still be rooting for him to have success in his career, but I am very.
We don't
happy.
have to count in April. Will he be on the field?
I am very happy they finally moved on because they gave him every opportunity to try to find a way to make this thing work in terms of getting him healthy. And remember, there was reports that they tried to ask him to train in a different way in the offseason and things like. And then there was
in retrospect, they should have traded him way sooner. You got the absolute lowest amount of value you could have, considering the prospect he was. You could have traded him at literally almost any other point of his career, and you would have gotten a greater return than you got now. But I also understand why they were trying to make it work. Again, super talented. Tons of it. Endless, as a matter of fact. He looks different on the field than most people look when he plays. But it was time. Like, you know how this works. Change of scenery works for players.
And if you're Boston, you gave up very little, and why not? It's not your,
You have a reliever who wasn't healthy with you. He's never failed for you. It doesn't matter. You're taking no chance. And they just want, Boston wants is infield insurance. They're not even necessarily guaranteeing him 162 games. Wouldn't play that, but, they're looking for insurance. Mondesi's fine insurance. That's what he was in Kansas City, essentially, every time he got on the field. I don't know what they're going to do now. I feel like there's still maybe 4 moves left before training camp starts. I feel like there's still like another trade or two and a couple more signings. Maybe Greinke, maybe another infielder, but I don't think the Royals are done here.
The one I think other than like Greinke always looming out there is with the report, because it's not official, the report that Aroldis Chapman is going to be signed to the Royals, right? Pending a physical, $3.7 million. That's still not official. That news came out last Thursday. It's Tuesday. They haven't made it official yet. But if they sign him, look who they just got a reliever back in Taylor. They got a left-handed reliever in the Michael A. Taylor trade, and then Chapman's coming in. If that's the case, then does that open the door for Scott Barlow or somebody else to be on the move? You start thinking, that's 3 relievers if the Chapman deal goes through.
Or Amir Garrett, who's only on one deal left on his deal.
That's 3 relievers that they've acquired in the last 24 hours. Yeah, and Amir Garrett's very well liked in the clubhouse and everything as well. That'll be interesting to see if that actually.
But that's
happens.
the thing.
Yeah.
The Royals had a long time where they spent protecting the clubhouse part, making sure that players who were well liked were well respected. They got rid of Ryan O'Hearn. People loved him. People in the clubhouse really liked Michael A. Taylor. I don't think it's going to stop them from moving Amir Garrett. They're clearly going to be more transactional in the J.J. Piccolo era. It's tougher.
They should be.
Because the Royals organization can't exactly operate like bad teams who don't have a fan base. Royals fans, we know you care. We know you care the players who are on your team. The thing is, it's easy to be transactional at this level, and they never were. The challenge in being transactional is when are you willing to trade players people like and perform well for you? That's Barlow. Look, it's easy to move the Michael A. Taylors of the world. It's easy to move the Mondesi of the world, in my opinion. It's easy to move those relievers who don't play a lot. Like, those are easy. It's harder to move players who have performed well for you, have control, and people like. Fans like. That's where the challenge really comes into play. So I don't know. Like, Josh Taylor's been a good reliever in the past, but
hurt all of last season, so who knows what you're getting.
I mean,
take a flyer. See what happens.
At this point, you're trading your hurt player for their player, and you're hoping it works out.
Coming up next, though, finally, Cincinnati cannot claim this. We'll tell you what that is.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Let me tell you more about Gann Asphalt, which you can, of course, go see at GANNasphalt.com. Over 25 years in the city, and they said one contractor, all things parking lot. Doesn't matter whether you need a repave or work done or drain inlets done. If you have a business and you've been looking at this, this trashy parking lot for too long, take care of it. Make sure that people see the same pride you do in your business and trust a different local company in Gann Asphalt and Concrete to take care of those needs for you. They work on all different sizes of projects and can make sure that whether it's a big maintenance or entire asphalt projects, that you take care of it. Call one of their local salesmen, 688-3512, or go to GANNasphalt.com so you can see for yourself the type of project to do. You can go right on their website and see the projects they've already worked on. That way you know you can trust what you're getting. See videos, see photos, see some of the reviews for yourself so you know this local company is the one you can trust with your business and with those commercial needs. Go to GannAsphalt.com, that's GANN asphalt.com, and take a look for yourself.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
4 months. 4 months is all it takes to become a pro in a new field, and one that is more in demand than ever, the career of IT. And in the IT field, Centric is the real MVP. The results speak for themselves, with 1,500 companies and counting that have hired Centric grads. Reach out to Russ Mondry today. He will walk you through your career options and discuss Centric's hands-on approach. Learn more at centric.com/610. That's CENTRIQ.com/610. IT is the future of Kansas City. Let Centric make it your future.
We're down to the last 4 teams in the NFL playoffs. The NFL Conference Championship games are this Sunday, and you can enjoy more thrills than a 2-minute drill on FanDuel. It doesn't matter if you're new to the app or if you already have an account, because they're giving all customers a no-sweat same-game parlay. That means you'll get free bets back if your conference championship same-game parlay doesn't hit. Bet on everything from the money line, point spreads, to which player you think will score a touchdown. New to FanDuel? Then use my promo code CDOT to see for yourself why it's America's #1 sportsbook app. And if you already have FanDuel, then sign in today, and you can start building your no-sweat same-game parlay. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. 3+ legs. Minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
The NFL playoffs are here, and the easiest way to get into the action is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get started with $150 in free bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code WIN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. Must be present in select states to wager. First online real money wager only. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbookfanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. For Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, West Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 Wyoming, Kansas, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. 1-877-770 South Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. 467-369 in New York. TN Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee.
As a Shane Company jewelry consultant, I get to work with couples looking for their dream engagement ring. Many feel overwhelmed. They just don't know where to start. And that's what I love about my job. I get to make this important experience fun and easy. We don't work on commission, so there's no pressure. When you visit, first, I'll want to know, what are your ideas for your dream ring? What fits your lifestyle, your personality, your budget? Then we'll go from there. We'll look at ring settings, and I'll show you options for the center stone. For example, if you choose a classic solitaire ring setting, I can show you how it'll look with different center stones, like a pear-shaped diamond or an oval pink sapphire. We have all shapes, colors, and sizes. If you're going for a big look with lots of sparkle, I can show you our halo ring settings. Or, if you want a ring that's ready to go, we can look at our perfectly preset styles. Visit your friends. We're in this together.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, we are here. Here for spring fevers and lowering fevers. Here for first checkups and first dances. Here for planting seeds and growing communities. For more than 80 years, Blue KC has been here for good and will be here for the moments that matter, today and tomorrow. Because at Blue KC, we are here for good. Learn more at hereforgoodkc.com.
Wendy's knows cold and soggy fries are the worst.
So soggy.
That's why we're serving up hot and crispy fries all day, every day.
And all night until close.
With natural cut potatoes, sea salted to perfection.
Show me that potato skin.
Wendy's hot and crispy aren't like other fries. We're your dream fry. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's hot and crispy fries.
Guaranteed to be hot and crispy. If yours aren't, bring them back and we'll replace them.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot.
But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of an LG wash tower with ultra-large capacity, serving up a powerful yet gentle clean in just 29 minutes. Making this the sound of savings on the best appliance brands. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Shop final days to get an LG wash tower now up to 25% off. Pricing valid January 5th through January 25th, 2023. Gas Dryer Extra. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
You might get wireless data everywhere, but do you have to use it all the time? If that's not really you, there's TracFone. You can get the same nationwide 5G coverage as big carriers, but you pick a plan that you need for a lot less. Unlimited talk and text plans start at $15 a month, no contract. And now you can get the Samsung Galaxy A03s for just $49.99. TracFone. Now you're in control. While supplies last, 1 month equals 30 days. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Dancing crew, trip for two, nail the final interview. Game with Doug, brand new mug. Come here, kid, give me a hug. The more you want to do, the more we want to do. New COVID-19 boosters designed for recent Omicron variants are now available. Learn about eligibility and schedule a free, updated booster today at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Back here on Cody and Gold, coming up in about 25 minutes or so. Nate Taylor from The Athletic, also host of the Nate Taylor Show right here Monday nights, 610 Sports Radio, along with C-Dot. Nate Taylor going to be in studio. Looking forward to chatting with Nate about, of course, all the talk that's going to continue to happen leading up to Sunday's AFC title game out at Arrowhead, and, of course, the health of one Patrick Mahomes, that ankle in particular. We'll hear from Andy tomorrow. Also, at some point this week, hopefully Mahomes will join CDOT on the drive. We'll let you know when we know that exact time and when that actually is going to happen. But obviously plenty to discuss with one Patrick Mahomes, who I'm sure is just rehabbing the hell out of and getting treatment the hell out of that ankle right now.
I don't know what that means.
Nobody's been more focused on an ankle ever before. Ever.
Ever?
Ever. The most watched ankle in sports right now.
I mean, currently, yes. I don't know how many other ankles you'd be watching.
Was Kurt Schilling the bloody ankle or bloody was sock, right? It was the bloody sock, Kurt Schilling.
That was near his ankle.
Yeah. That was in a game, too. Like, that was in the game.
A lot of close-up shots of that. How many close-up shots of Mahomes' ankle do you expect on Sunday?
Oh, plenty. Plenty.
Tons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like some camera operator's job is to just zoom in on that thing for a majority of the game.
Yeah, like I look forward to if the Chiefs are able to win 2 more games and win the Super Bowl, there will be like, I don't know if it'll be our guy Kevin Clark from The Ringer. Someone will have like an in-depth piece on like behind the scenes of what actually went in to make him able to play. And there'll be some gnarly ass ankle photo that comes out. Like that's only if they win the Super Bowl, right? There'll be some Kevin Clark piece or somebody like that. Maybe our guy Nate Taylor, and it'll just be like a deep dive into the treatment of the ankle. They'll have a sit down with Rick Burkhalter and Bobby Stroop, and it'll just be this full breakdown of how he was ready and how he ended up putting together a legendary performance against Cincinnati in the AFC title game.
Sounds nice.
Do you guys think Kurt Schilling used ketchup in his sock?
I don't. I don't think so.
No, I think his foot was probably.
There were rumors.
Well, I'm sure
people were talking.
There's conspiracies for everything, man.
You guys fans of Kurt Schilling?
Good baseball player. Really good baseball player.
I think he sucks.
You didn't think he was a good pitcher?
You said, do you like Kurt Schilling?
No, I said, were you a fan? Are you fans?
Oh, no. He was a very good baseball player, but no is the answer to your question.
Well, I think that's all that should matter.
Is whether or not you're good at sports?
Mm-hmm. Everything else comes second.
Isn't that what the Hall of Fame's about? Just what you did in sports?
Nick's a big OJ guy.
Oh.
Like OJ Burroughs, the cornerback for the Kansas Jayhawks?
Orange juice.
I really am not, though.
I like orange juice.
I have a screwdriver every now and again.
That's it, though?
That's like a great Las Vegas 9:30, 10:30 in the morning. After you've been out. It's a great, just keep it going. I love Vegas screwdriver, best place to have one.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Big fan of the screwdriver, man.
Yeah.
Excellent says big game for creepy foot guys. I'm assuming you mean Rex Ryan or so. Big game for Rex Ryan.
It's all covered.
Have you watched Rex Ryan on TV recently? I swear that guy's teeth are getting bigger and bigger every week. They're bright white, Squeaky clean looking, but they're getting bigger and bigger, I feel like, as the season has gone on. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't watch a lot of NFL pregame coverage.
Have you seen the photo?
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the photos. It's jarring.
It's like something's changed, man.
There's almost no doubt about it. It is.
Someone brought up Rex Ryan's side. My mind went there because it's been bugging me. I'm not the only one that's made that observation.
No, it appears there are many photos on the internet of his very bright teeth.
I am happy that finally Cincinnati can't actually play the underdog card here. I mean, I guess they could try. But they're not. They are actually the favorites in this game on Sunday. The line keeps moving, depending on what book you're betting with. The Chiefs are 1.5 to 2.5 point underdogs at Arrowhead. That's only the second time under Patrick Mahomes that the Chiefs have been an underdog under Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead. It's only the 8th time that Mahomes, period, has been an underdog. You got to go back to even 2017, the first time, his rookie season, the first time, I think it was against the Broncos when he actually was an underdog. And Patrick Mahomes has fared well as an underdog. Now, at home, when he's a dog, he's 0-1, right? So he lost to Buffalo this year. But in general, Mahomes is 6-1-1 against the spread, 5-3 straight up in games where he's a dog. Now, the ankle injury has not been a problem in the past. That's the difference. We all know he's dealing with this ankle injury, which is certainly going to impact his mobility. We don't know to what extent, but there's no way he will be as mobile. There's just no way. High ankle sprain, it might be April before it really is like fully, or March before it's like fully good to go.
I'm having a tough day.
Go ahead, man.
David Chow, who's on the drive.
Yeah.
Yesterday had said less than 50% mobility, but 84% effectiveness, if that makes sense. It doesn't. But the one thing is, I understand Mahomes has won some playoff games, like the Titans won, right? He's had some key moments with his legs in playoff games. But we can admit, right, that their offense is better suited to a pocket Patrick Mahomes than ever, right? Like if there was a time to have a high ankle sprain and he had limited mobility, it is now. It is as the Chiefs are currently constituted, where they are yak yardage kings and everything is in their favor. Because all the things you're talking about, like the underdog and everything that make you feel good about what Kansas City can be, are true. But they are sitting in a very rare game where you could make a very good argument. You can make certainly the argument that Cincinnati's had your number. You can make the argument Cincinnati's got the healthier quarterback, which certainly matters, and that they've gotten the better of you recently. They are probably appropriately Vegas favorites. But if you are telling me I get Patrick Mahomes with all of this noise as an underdog in a home playoff game,
love it.
I'll take those chances. He's 2-3 in AFC title games too, or 2 out of 4, I guess. That first one I still think is so weird because I look back and I'm like, it's the first year as an NFL starter he's going against the 6 guys run in NFL history. It feels different to me. But 2 of the last 3, he's victorious. I'll take those chances. And the fact that Cincy doesn't get to be like, they're still trying to play. Nobody believes in us. Everybody hates us. But the Chiefs get to play that card too.
Cincinnati's going to keep doing it because you mentioned the Patriots there. Remember, the Patriots, even at the end of their run, they were wearing like the underdog T-shirts. Him and Edelman and Gronk and Brady, and they weren't the underdog. So teams will find ways to motivate. But I do like it's an unusual spot. But in an AFC title game, the Chiefs are an underdog at home. It's not a normal spot, and I kind of like it.
How many times he's only been an underdog?
8 times, I believe. Twice at home. A lot, and that earlier was
this year against Buffalo.
That was the first time, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty low odds. What's funny is like all of this feels like because that line movement still feels too strong. Like is Mahomes not okay? Like I don't want to keep talking about the ankle, but it's just like what? Why is the line? Because I get why it moved a little. It opened up at 2.5. We all said that's too high. We all felt like the people were going to pour money in on Cincinnati because they just beat the hell out of the Bills, and Mahomes suffered an injury in the game. So we knew that was going to be at least a factor in the conversation. But for just for generally, I mean, you cover gambling pretty regularly. 4 or 5 points of line movement is a lot.
Usually it's always...
That's a huge amount of movement.
The only way you ever see it like this is injury related. You know, we go back to when the Jalen Hurts rumors started. I don't know if you guys remember, like over a month ago, we saw a huge shift in that. There was the Eagles-Cowboys game before we knew Gardner Minshew was going to play. And all of a sudden, like there was like 3, 4, 5 points towards the Cowboys. And it was like, something's up. The only way you see that kind of line movement is QB injury. We already knew before the line came out Mahomes was hurt, but what changed? The Chiefs yesterday, as an organization, and Andy Reid, they confirmed what we all thought. They confirmed that the reports of the high ankle sprain were pretty, quote, pretty accurate. That also caused some more line movement yesterday, and we continue to see it today. And then you also get speculation, right? The quote unquote, what information is it more severe? You had Jake Glazer on Sunday night saying it looked better. Has there been a setback? A lot of it's speculation, and sometimes this will get you. The books are probably going to be the way things are trending. Big fans of the Chiefs on Sunday with all the money coming in on Cincinnati. And also there's a chance to keep an eye on, if we get word on Friday that the ankle is actually in a much better spot again, you could see some late big money start coming on Kansas City that moves it closer to 1 or a pick 'em. I don't think that's impossible either. But the Chiefs, they're clearly going to be underdogs on Sunday, and I love it.
There's not nearly enough evidence because home underdog. One other time he's 0-1. I'm like, well, that doesn't tell me anything. Right. I can't make a determination on if that means he should actually be expected to lose, but it takes a rare circumstance. It takes an injury and a team that you think is comparable to Kansas City on a talent perspective. Because if it were the Jags and we knew that Mahomes' ankle was like this, they'd still be the favorite. If it were almost any other team I think honestly, if it were the Bills, they'd still be a favorite. I think it's because, well, maybe if not the Bills destroyed Cincinnati, but it feels like Cincinnati, the way they've played, they haven't lost since Halloween. That is a big part of where people are betting this right now.
And to your point, look, then the Chiefs played Cincy earlier this year. The Chiefs on the road were actually 2.5-point favorites in that game, and they lost by 3, as we know. Kansas City did. But they were 2.5-point favorites in that game. And when you look at Cincinnati, things have changed for both teams. Their defense is playing a lot better. I would argue the Chiefs' defense is healthier, playing a lot better. Joe Thuney did not play in that game. The big question, and the reason why this is all week, it's really about the ankle.
Yeah.
And it's going to be just a question of, does it hold up throughout the game, I think. And that's why a lot of people also are probably willing to bet on Cincinnati. The thought that even if Mahomes starts, can he get in the game at some point? Does the ankle get re-aggravated? Whatever, or is he ineffective? All that kind of stuff is certainly up in the air. But let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Gold, for you, Nick, over in the text line, 913-586-7610. Of course, the random question today brought to you by the window source of Kansas City. This one coming from the Lives of Celebrities. I don't know if you saw this story, but I'll ask a question following the story that was, there are rumors that Shakira left her husband of 11 years because she noticed something was missing. Okay. She had realized he was cheating on her because some strawberry jam had been consumed from the fridge and he doesn't eat it. Okay. She's like, well, you're cheating because that's something you've never eaten, and now some of it's gone, which is suspicious to say the least.
Yeah.
Then they found out that PK, who's a soccer player, was cheating. That's what she thinks. That's the rumor Friday found out.
What?
That PK is the name of the player.
Okay.
He was cheating. That's the rumor is how she determined he was cheating on her, and that eventually led to their 11-year marriage ending. What I want to know
all
from
over
you,
the jam.
The jam, dude.
The jam got him.
What is the thing in your house? This is probably easier for Nick or I because we're in, or the text line. But what is the thing in your house that if it were missing, you'd know that it's bizarre? You'd be like, there's no reason, like food or otherwise, something consumable, or you'd be like, there's something wrong here. Something is off. Because you know the things, Nick, that Lindsay will not eat. If you were gone for a little bit and that thing was eaten, you would be like, why?
Condiments.
All condiments?
Yeah, Lindsay doesn't do condiments. Kind of like MJ Melendez.
So, if you came home and mustard was out, you'd be like, and you were gone all day, you'd be like, what happened here?
Yeah, mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup, barbecue sauce, any of it.
Any of it?
Yeah.
Man, she really doesn't do any condiments.
I'm trying to think of consumable product because my fridge, we've discussed this, is pretty damn empty. It's got, the ice drawer. It's got a water pitcher. It's got a couple random beers in there, and it's got some string cheese right now. And that's it, guys. That's it. That's all that's in the fridge.
There's certain kinds of beer I know my wife doesn't drink. So if a couple of those are missing, I'd be like, I don't think so. That's not the kind you drink. And
what about the flip side?
Oh, for you?
Yeah, what would your wife be suspicious
pickles?
of?
I don't eat just a jar of pickles. I don't eat those. So if those were out or it was clear someone had consumed some of them, you would have to know it wasn't me.
So you would assume automatically that
she would know.
You would say, man.
She would assume.
You would say,
yeah, pickles.
Honey, I know you're cheating on me with someone that likes pickles. That's what you would say,
dude. It wouldn't make. Think about it. If you're her, and she comes home and now more pickles have been consumed, you're like, Cody's never gotten into that jar and eaten a single pickle ever, and now they're gone.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Because it has to be something that's always at the house.
Yes, and that's one of those things always there.
It can't just be like a random item. It has to be something that's always there because she is often consuming it. So pickles wouldn't really be in my house because they're never there. Oh, I'll tell you what. It would always be, and these aren't always there, but it would be some sort of random vegetable. Like if there was a thing of mushrooms at the house and all of a sudden there were some mushrooms gone, that would be a dead giveaway because I won't eat mushrooms. Or beets, right? Something like that.
That Lindsay buys regularly?
Not regularly, but like they might be at the house.
But if some were consumed, she would either assume that you were mentally ill all of a sudden, or that somebody else had come in.
I do love the idea that like I do love the idea that like I'm cheating, and the person that I'm cheating on, it's just like, oh, can I kill some of these mushrooms?
That's why jam really makes sense, or like a pickle, right? Someone might just randomly eat that snack.
Let's say this terrible hypothetical, and somebody like
this
your
is
spouse,
a terrible hypothetical.
Yeah, like
by the
your
way.
spouse is cheating on you. You think the guy is taking the time to open the fridge, and like, oh, I'm gonna have a dill pickle.
Dude, that's a common snack thing for a lot of people, though. Same as jam.
After having sex,
that's an
the
easy
guy's
thing.
like, I want to have
Electrolytes. Pickles have electrolytes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're already done
Some
with
people,
the like.
Some people will drink pickles when they're hungover, or.
Well, and like in this case, right? You're not worried about like, oh, I don't want my breath to
Text
stink like
lines
pickles.
that-
You just did all the stuff that led to it. You're fine. You can just eat the pickle now. You're safe.
913-586-7610. The text line brings up a very fair question. Trying to figure out how hot was this woman that he's cheating on Shakira.
Well, he's a famous soccer player.
Dude, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't get
Hugh
it.
Grant cheating on Elizabeth Hurley. Dude, it happens all the time.
I don't get it.
Super rich people will cheat on super attractive people. It doesn't make sense, but it happens.
How you cheating on Beyonce? How you cheating on Rihanna, Shakira? I don't get it. I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense, but it happens.
Ooh. Okay. Nice question, Cody. The text line all about the pickles. Someone else says, do I spend my entire paycheck on Propel and takeout?
Not all of it, but
a majority.
I definitely eat out 90% of the time. Yes. Yeah. 90% of the time I eat out.
When's the last
still
time you
maintain
cooked dinner at
we know
home?
we've talked about Cody disagrees with me, but I'm not a big leftover guy anyway. So typically to me there are arguments when it's just me that it makes more sense for me to go do carry out or take out or eat in at a restaurant than it is for me to actually go and, let's say, buy something at the store and make a full-blown dish, because I don't, again, with the caveat, I don't do leftovers. So it is a one-and-done type of meal for me. I don't do leftovers.
I think you need to start doing leftovers, though.
I'm good.
No, but you're going to have to eventually. If you're going to be married and have kids, you're going to have to do leftovers. Yes,
you
will.
to.
What are you going to do? Have takeout for every meal when you have 2 kids?
We will end up making food at home, but it doesn't mean you do leftovers.
You're going to cook every single meal.
Not every single meal, but you'll have a combination of eating out and cooking at home. You'll balance it out. Instead of 90-10, it'll be closer, 40-60.
I don't think you can get through life without doing leftovers. I'm sorry.
I've made it 32 years, bro.
But you're by yourself. You don't have to. You don't care for other people now.
I'm just saying.
Did your family eat leftovers as a kid?
No.
No.
That's part of the problem.
The entire Gold family refuses to eat leftovers.
Yeah, you can ask anybody in my entire family.
That
This
is
not made
so
up.
weird.
Yeah.
And
I don't
wasteful.
do
They hate the
leftovers.
earth.
Wow. Seriously, dude? You guys hate the earth, dude?
No, actually, we don't grab those styrofoam containers. We're actually saving the earth, okay?
You think that we pack up leftovers in our house in styrofoam containers?
At a restaurant, Cody, do they give you a plastic container or a styrofoam one? Usually a styrofoam
Do you guys
one.
eat a lot of leftovers in your house, Cody?
Yeah.
Oh,
Multiple times a
my
week.
house will be a leftover household. And
We
if they
have
don't-
to.
And if they aren't, then
Smells in
I'll
the
just.
fridge and, ugh.
No, dude, what are you talking about? No, they're airtight containers.
They got the burp like it's supposed to close.
Yeah, they don't. They don't have stinky fridge. I bet you my fridge is cleaner than your fridge. My fridge
never gets used. There's just no way.
It's not possible.
My fridge
It's
gets
not
cleaned. My fridge
I
gets cleaned
understand.
every week.
Nick,
No, it does not.
Nick,
You do not clean your fridge every
Yes,
week.
I do.
Nick.
Yes, I do.
And that's great.
every weekend.
Why are you lying? By the way, I do not believe
Come
this.
over,
You
come over.
are a liar.
No, come
you
over.
are
After
lying
the
on
show
the
today.
air.
No.
No person has ever cleaned their fridge once a week. You are lying on the show for no reason.
Come over after the show. Come over after the show. Every single Saturday, I throw out the stuff that made it to Saturday.
Yeah. So who's wasteful now?
That doesn't. I'm just saying, whatever's maybe like half a jar of something, or
And then you wipe it down. You take
Yes.
cleaner. There's no way.
I clean up my. I don't have. I have a small
I
apartment.
refuse to believe this.
I have a small apartment, so I wipe down the counters
Right.
3 or 4 times a week. After every single meal I cook, I'm wiping down the counters. I clean my bathroom and I clean my refrigerator every single week.
Well, the bathroom, I get. I mean, yeah,
Sure.
that makes sense.
No one's gonna or their counters. I'm not gonna argue on your
I mean,
counters.
look, you probably, let's put it this way, you've cleaned your fridge more recently than I have.
girl's never used
but
it,
mine has a pitcher of water in it and some beer cans. It's got to be pretty damn clean, I would think. I don't spill.
I've
nothing
seen inside
spills
his
out.
fridge.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
I don't even want to look inside your fridge.
Will
I
you
feel
take
like
a
I'll be
photo for us
scarred.
today?
No. Do not tag me if you do. I don't want to see it.
Send us a photo.
Sure, I will. Yeah,
Send us a photo.
Yeah.
The last time I saw it, it had a water pitcher, like a Brita pitcher. It had some like Bud Light cans or something on the bottom, the Chiefs ones on the bottom rack, and then it had some string cheese in the drawer.
There's still string
I'm not
cheese
even
in
kidding.
there. There's still
That was
Oh
it.
my God.
That was the only thing in the fridge.
There's still string cheese.
We have to move on.
There's still.
I'm getting uncomfortable.
There's definitely still string
My
cheese.
toes
in
are
there.
curling up inside my shoes.
Send us a photo later. Let's make it.
It's not even that. It's not economical to go through life like that. You need to cook food and then eat leftovers. I'm spending like $3 a meal, man.
Someone says meals for one easier to not have leftovers than meals for 3+. I agree. Right now,
What?
it's not a. Right now, you're right, Nick. That if eventually that's something I have to change. Right when it's just me, it actually is not as crazy as it sounds. When it's just one.
It's
person.
not more economical, but I understand your argument says it's not terribly expensive for you to eat.
Now, if I have 3 or 4 people under one house, yeah, it's different. I'm with you guys on that regard.
Are you getting closer to getting married? You're talking like maybe you're ready to settle down. That's why I'm asking.
I haven't said that at all.
Nick agrees, right? He's talking about what it'll be like when he has a family. Nick, that's
guys-
different than normal.
Nick just put that scenario out there. Nick just put that scenario there.
Okay. I think you're ready to settle down.
Do you think Tom Brady's ready to settle down with somebody else to retire, get rid of football? He was on his podcast.
Wait, hold on. Dead serious.
Oh.
Before you play this audio,
Okay.
I don't remember if I bleeped it. So Nick has to listen to it before.
Oh,
we
it's
play.
already bleeped, I think, right?
I don't want to say for sure.
All right, have the dump on ready. This is totally not what we should be doing, but okay.
That's why I changed the topic in the rundown. I was trying to save myself.
Tom Brady on his own podcast. Jim Gray, of course, is like the host of the podcast. They're talking about Tom Brady's future, and Nick will have the dump button ready.
Tom, you're leaving everybody guessing. You said you'll take your time. Do you have any type of a time as to what you might want to do regarding your football career?
Jim, if I knew what I was going to
I was worried. I paused.
Wow, he paused it even though he was saying it. Continue.
I was a little concerned. We'll go back now that we know it's clean. Let's all just listen together, and we're all comfortable.
Do you have any type of a timetable as to what you might want to do regarding your football career?
Jim, if I knew what I was going to fucking do, I'd have already done it. Okay? I'm taking it a day at a time.
I sense you're antagonized by the question.
You're scratching.
It's only the question that everybody wants to hear.
You're scratchy. I appreciate your asking. Thank you.
I think it's an act. I think Tom Brady's
Of course it's an act. It's his own podcast. Like, he was stunned that Jim Gray was going to. Of course it's an act, Cody. Now, do I believe he hasn't made up his mind? Yeah, I do believe. I don't think he knows what he wants to do. I don't think he knows what he wants to do. But the whole, like, if I effing know, that was all for show. Here we are. We're playing a cut from his podcast. And Jim Gray, they already probably knew that question was going to get asked, and it is what it is.
Assuming it's his podcast, he's included in the process of deciding what is discussed on it.
If Tom Brady deep down did not want that question asked, he would have told Jim Gray not to ask it, and it wouldn't have got asked. It's like you say, it's his podcast. So,
Yeah, would you like to keep co-hosting this podcast, Jim Gray?
No, it's gotten traction. It's what Tom wants some attention. Guys, we know the playbook. Like Tom Brady is the GOAT, but this happens every playoffs now that when he's not around still. Like, so the years where which is not very many, when he's not in title game weekend or Super Bowl, he does a great job of making sure he is relevant title game weekends and Super Bowl weekends, even when he's not playing. It happened when the Chiefs were playing the Niners, and there was talk at that point in time on where would he go. I can promise you, if the Chiefs end up in the Super Bowl, or anybody in the Super Bowl for that matter, Tom Brady, there will be rumors Radio Row Week in Arizona about where Tom Brady's going, and it'll get leaked out by people around him on purpose. He wants to make sure this happens every postseason. This happened a couple years ago.
It's just all for. He just loves attention. Like, he can't help it. Only to create this. It's fine, man. Go somewhere. Play or don't. Like, the rest of the world has moved on from the guessing where Tom's going to play every day
Jim,
situation.
if I knew what I was going to fucking do, I'd have already done it.
Fair point, Tom. By the way, they're like best friends, so it's like there's just no way he would have thrown him under the bus like that. I sense you're antagonized. Could you have chosen a more like regular ho-hum like broadcaster dude than Jim Gray to do a podcast with?
LeBron's interview, this the famous decision. Guess who was interviewing him then? That was Jim Gray. That's a very successful career for Jim Gray.
No, I'm not saying that. It just seems like a weird podcast co-host, if that makes sense. You tend to go like more upbeat, crazy personalities.
Coming up next, 1 o'clock hour, Nate Taylor from The Athletic in studio telling us what the Bengals are going to do against Patrick Mahomes Sunday.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Alex's That Betting Show every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Right here on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
The Kansas City Chiefs are back in the playoffs, and BetMGM is adding more excitement to the team's postseason run with one-game parlay insurance. Just place a one-game parlay wager with at least 4 legs on the Kansas City Chiefs playoff game, and if all those legs in the parlay hit but one, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets up to $25. Log into your account or download the BetMGM app to take advantage of this offer throughout the Chiefs playoff run. Take the field confidently with BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. So don't wait and go get that one-game parlay insurance. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older and physically present in Kansas to bet. New and existing customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refunds belong to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, we are here. Here for spring fevers and lowering fevers. Here for first checkups and first dances. Here for planting seeds and growing communities. For more than 80 years, Blue KC has been here for good and will be here for the moments that matter, today and tomorrow. Because at Blue KC, we are here for good. Learn more at hereforgoodkc.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-978-5309 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-978-5309. That's 800-978-5309. What do you have to lose? Call 800-978-5309. Again, 800-978-5309.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
The Kansas City Chiefs are looking to win the championship, and Metro Ford is winning with new inventory coming in and opportunities to make great deals. View our inventory online at kcmetroford.com. You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Derek Johnson knows playoff football.
Derek Johnson came on the blitz and decleats Mariota.
Catch him every Monday at 7:30 with Vesco in the Morning, right here on 610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WGAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Station.
One o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Nick Schwartz with you. Couple breaking news items throughout the show today, just to get you caught up on. We'll get back into during what's trending. The Royals making multiple moves in the last 24 hours. The latest involving Alberto Mondesi being traded to the Boston Red Sox for Josh Taylor, also a player to be named later from the Royals side that will go to Boston at some point in the future. JJ Piccolo held a press conference earlier today and mentioned kind of what, Cody, what you were saying, we've both been saying just about like moving forward. And, this might be the best thing for Alberto Mondesi. And then also yesterday, the Royals trading Michael A. Taylor to the Minnesota Twins for a pair of relievers, including a left-handed reliever. And it feels like maybe there'll be more moves to come. But two moves very active the last 24 hours for the Kansas City Royals. JJ Piccolo also in his press conference mentioning that $85 to $90 million is kind of where they believe the payroll will be, and some of that is going to depend.
They've been around they're around 77, 78 million after these moves today.
Yeah, gives you an idea. We all know that Greinke's still out there potentially. There also could be another trade that frees up some money. All that's in play. We'll get back to that a little bit later on. But we got our guy Nate Taylor from The Athletic, of course, the host of the Nate Taylor Show on 610 Sports Radio Monday nights, in studio with us as he is each and every Tuesday. And I warned people, I said, like, Nate's always got energy. Nate's always excited. But I feel like there's a whole nother level to Nate Taylor. AFC title game week, Nate Taylor.
I love this week of football. As I texted Nick, I had to figure out when I needed to like stop writing and researching because I'm deep into the film. This is great because obviously they played 3 times over the last 2 years. It's much of the same players. So you're trying to anticipate what you could see Sunday. Obviously, everybody's wondering about Mahomes. Yes, I am aware that he did a mini workout last night.
Yeah, what do you make
town.
of that? The whole Facebook. So for those that don't know,
yes.
There's a Facebook post with one of the Chiefs. Somebody was at a private gym workout facility in town, and a photo that appears to be.
Oh, it's him.
And now you're confirming it is him. Okay.
Yes, it's him.
Patrick Mahomes got his like ankle weights on and all that, doing some workouts. Let's start there with the ankle. Like, what are you kind of hearing? What's the vibe like? In terms of in the organization with Patrick Mahomes and his health.
So I didn't believe Andy Reid yesterday when he said that the right ankle, high ankle sprain that he sustained Saturday against the Jags was not as severe as the left ankle sprain he had on opening day, ironically, against the Jaguars in 2019. I didn't believe Coach. I'm like,
okay.
Coach you got to be optimistic early in the week.
He also wouldn't give a grade strain, so it didn't feel like.
Doesn't help either, Coach.
Yeah.
So, he has to be optimistic. I understand that. We don't know exactly how the future is going to project. But with understanding that Pat did something last night, that is like, okay, that's legitimate. That is something that I can actually hold. And now it gives me great anticipation for tomorrow's opening practice of this week. Really what it suggests is that, like, he's playing. There's no more, cloudiness unless he has some severe setback in practice this week.
Then why is the line moving? Because normally that would be injury. Is somebody else hurt I don't know about?
Don't talk too loud, Mr. Tapp. If you're gonna bet for the Chiefs, maybe I shouldn't be saying this on.
I'm waiting for like 3
public radio. No, I think part of it is the public understands that Cincinnati is on an impressive winning streak that you have to acknowledge. They just destroyed Buffalo, a team that was not nearly as good as they were at the start of the year. I think part of it too is you just haven't seen Mahomes. There is no injury report that I could point you towards.
Like if it says full participant on Wednesday,
then it might change.
Yeah.
So there's no injury report that I can point you to that I can again hold, that I can actually hold in my hands. This is real information. So he was with Bobby Stroop last night. I think it's probably still up, but like you can go on Brittany Mahomes' Instagram page.
Yeah, the kid, they were out there.
Just to double confirm or to get a third source. But yeah, like.
Bobby Stroop was tweeting about all kinds of medical stuff I don't understand.
Well, I agree is what I'm ultimately trying to say. Like, yeah, I'm also not a doctor. But look, if he's one of the more, and I'm trying to say this as best I can based on the information that's been given to me, but he is one of the most flexible athletes that Bobby Stroop has ever worked with. Flexibility does come into play when you're obviously trying to build strength, obviously change a direction. He he does so many unorthodox things with his body that obviously it takes a trainer's own vision and uniqueness to sort of, bring out the best and obviously improve some of those areas. So he's not the traditional quarterback, and that may help him in this sense because, look, I am not 27 years old. I am not playing quarterback for the Chiefs. I'm not putting ankle weights on my ankle 2 days after, 2.5 days after I done sustained a high ankle sprain where everybody saw. So this bodes well for the team. I do sort of project that he'll be limited tomorrow. I don't think it's necessarily wise for the Chiefs to have him go through all the reps. They also need to get Chad Henne more involved with the first team offense just because as a safeguard, basically because he didn't have any first team reps last week for understandable reasons. But with this situation, I think it's fair for them to split the reps Wednesday and then see how Patrick feels Thursday morning. And if he's still, trending in a positive direction, then you might say, okay, well, Thursday is 75-25. And then maybe Friday for situational stuff, it's just a lighter practice than Thursday and Wednesday. He might take the full reps.
What is the difference you think we see on Sunday with Mahomes, though? Because no matter what, we know he's not going to be 100%. There's no way that's possible with a high ankle sprain. But just how limited do you think?
Move your mic a little closer into your mouth.
I get that. That he may be. Is it going to be more of an impact when the pocket breaks down? That's when we're going to really notice it. Is it going to be? Does it change how they even have to do? As Cody and I were talking about, when they were trying to run the stretch runs, like it was a problem for him to reach out and hand the ball off. Where do you think we'll notice it the most?
I don't know. Even if he feels as great as physically possible in 7.5 days, that you could ask him to be under center a ton. This changes the calculation for short yardage situations. Like they're going to have even better stuff than they've shown already. Obviously, the Noah Gray quarterback sneak didn't work. I don't know if you want to put Blake Bell in that situation moving forward. Where's Michael Burton? He might be, more needed in short yardage stuff. One thought I had yesterday was that maybe they would put him in the pistol because that still allows the running back to get that usual run up to the line of scrimmage differently than obviously being in shotgun where all the eyes are on you anyway. Obviously, the Chiefs run a really nice run game where it's very gap, push forward, double team type of action. So stretch might not be in the playbook. Orlando Brown's going to have an amazing game. This is it. There's no more, he's had really good times. He's had strong play. The last time the Bengals played the Chiefs, he was relatively pretty good, except for the one snap we all remember because he lost so bad on a 3-man rush. The offensive line is going to have to be excellent. Jarrett McKinnon is probably going to be more of a pass protector than probably a receiver in this game. You're obviously going to have to rely on Pacheco to be effective. But, yeah, it's the change of direction. It's the pocket collapsing. And I would advise the Chiefs to have at least an outlet for every down and distance situation you want to throw the ball so that he can, as he says before, sort of dirt the ball. If I feel pressure, if I can't move the way I want to, I just need to throw it in the general area of someone so that we don't have intentional grounding or I don't take a sack that could aggravate the injury from obviously last week.
I know we can talk about like the Bengals defensive coordinator has done specifically a great job against great quarterbacks.
Yep.
So there's probably some juice there, but asking them to give good protection for Mahomes doesn't seem like a big ask. I know that sounds ridiculous. They were 4th worst in sacks.
Yeah.
They're as bad as the Chiefs were. Get worse, actually. They have less sacks this year than the Chiefs had last year. They don't get to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So
unless it's a blitz like they did, last week against Josh Allen, where their blitzes were so exotic or so unusual that they did get pressure.
Yeah, but they were the only teams who had less sacks than them were the Raiders, Falcons, and Bears. Like, they weren't good at getting to the quarterback. You paid the highest paid left guard in the NFL. You have the best center in the NFL. You have one of the higher paid left tackles you traded a first round pick for. It's like, I don't feel like we're asking that much. I know that sounds crazy. It's like, I don't think asking the offensive line to have a great day is asking some big favor.
But it's absolutely necessary.
Yes.
It's a little different. Like, the Jaguars were getting to be a better, pass rushing defense from the front four. Obviously, Trayvon Walker was getting better. They still had Josh Allen, Alden Key in and around the quarterback. So it was at least impressive that when Mahomes came back into the game in the second half on Saturday that they did only give up one quarterback hit. And that was when Mahomes was just buying time so that MVS could cross
throw the touchdown,
cross his face to throw the touchdown in the back of the end zone. That's the kind of statistics you want to have Sunday. Like, hey, he only got hit 3 times, and all 3 times were mostly I got the ball out and the defender was right next to me. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati wanted to test his ankle and push him to the ground. And, hey, if that's a 15-yard penalty and we got to take it early in the game just to get a feel of what the refs are going to allow and how his ankle's going to withstand, hey, he's on the field, y'all. It's a violent sport.
Yep.
So that can happen. But I do get the sense that Trey Hendrickson has beaten Orlando Brown with some inside moves, with some power to go inside. And then Sam Hubbard, their other defensive end for the Bengals, he's done a really nice job of second effort. And I think that's something that when you rewatch the games, that might be the one sort of extra point for Orlando Brown is the Bengals are really good at second effort rushes. Like, hey, we know Mahomes is going to extend the play. That might be a little bit different now. But the reason they've gotten to him at critical moments in these 3 games is because the first read isn't there because the backside is doing something a little bit different, or they're trying to take Travis Kelce away to the best of their abilities. And then it's usually when he tries to go to 2 to 3 or to scramble that either Hubbard or Hendrickson are in the area and they can make a sack. So you just don't want him to take any sacks in this game because that increases his chance of getting into a rhythm to staying upright and then figuring out what he can and can't do with his body in terms of throwing the ball, being accurate downfield. You want him to get into a rhythm, obviously, in the first quarter, but you don't want that to be stagnated in the third quarter because he took a sack.
Do you believe that in one of the ways to protect Mahomes, maybe this is something that gets adjusted as the game goes on, depending how Wiley and Brown hold up, but having Blake Bell back, how big is that also? I know they've had him back for a couple weeks now, but how big is that considering you're maybe you have to keep in a tight end more than you obviously would. There's maybe a chance Jody Fortson is ready to go for Sunday. Yeah. How does that play into this as well?
Yeah, they're going to have to be really strategic when they take shot plays. And the player that they can do that with is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. In the last meeting, Marquez Valdes-Scantling was the reason that they beat the blitz a few times. And then Lou Amaruno, the defensive line or the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, was like, I got to stop blitzing because we can't cover MVS one-on-one.
Yeah, 2 catches, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
2
for
deep.
70 or 80 yards total.
Yeah. So they can be in some of these 2 tight end sets, or heck, you could even have Kadarius Toney in the backfield with Isaiah Pacheco or with Jerick McKinnon, and you still have a receiver, whether it's Watson or MVS, who can run vertical routes to give you that third layer of the offensive play. But yeah, they're going to need their tight ends to chip and release. They're going to need Jerick McKinnon to just be as good as he's been all year and picking up the blitz and recognizing that it might not be this person, it might be that person. And at the snap, you realize which defender's coming and which defender's not, and obviously execute at a high level. So the screen game. This is a screen game just waiting to happen. The Bengals might know that. I would still say run the screens because you got Kadarius Toney, you got Pacheco, and you got obviously Jerick McKinnon.
Does that put Mahomes in a vulnerable spot though? If you're going to be running screen, with the obviously a screenplay, you're getting a free rush in some case, right? To where they can get that ankle or is that scares me a little bit, I guess.
One of the funny things though is if you know they're blitzing on certain down distances where you are on the field, or if you know that they're dropping back into that sort of cover 4 quarters, cover 2 to some extent, then now you have space to sort of expand on the field. And if the linemen reach their landmarks, you at least have yards after the catch of, potential with the players I just mentioned that hey, it does get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. Yes, it does expose him a little bit. But if you want to move the ball down the field and not have the quarterback go through 40 traditional dropbacks, which I would say, let's not do that unless he is absolutely feeling excellent. Then there's just a number of ways to keep the Bengals honest, to keep them off balance, to keep them to having to think. I think getting in that pistol formation at least is going to have to ID them as to where their matchups are. They've seen the Ravens do that. They've actually been pretty good when they've played the Ravens. Ravens ain't got no receivers, though. So it's something where it's like, hey, we're in pistol. You still think, Travis, you still think Jerick, but maybe MVS, Juju, or Justin Watson can get open on the second layer.
On the other side of the ball, did you realize Frank Clark still had juice?
Oh, I
this kind of juice?
I think he was the first person to tell. I think I was the first person to tell that he was ready for the playoffs. Before, but I wrote a feature on The Athletic last week. People can go look it up. It's the one last ride between Frank Clark and Chris Jones, because Frank Clark might not be on the team next season. And obviously Chris Jones is eligible for an extension, which means, things could change. Obviously,
there's a lot of choices.
Obviously they drafted Karlaftis, obviously at the position as well. But a couple weeks before the regular season ended, Frank Clark told me specifically that a storm is coming. And
hey,
we have been
I know he said that, but I didn't believe it. I thought maybe a drizzle.
I did.
A storm? I was like, I didn't see Frank Clark storm in a while.
I kind of did, because you talked to Joe Cullen, the defensive line coach, and obviously I'd had some conversation with Frank, off to the side during the week, where I was starting to understand that what their plan was, which is obviously to feature Chris Jones the most. And then it's really Frank Clark's job to get George Karlaftis as ready as possible, along with Joe Cullen, along with Steve Spagnuolo. And then it's about managing Frank Clark's he's year 8?
He played all season too.
Yeah, he played all season. He only missed the 2 games because of the suspension. It was about can you pick your spots at times, and then can you unleash
it's
what
like Carlos
what you have.
Dunlap.
Yeah.
He's going to end up turning into Dunlap's career, isn't he? He's going to go play with 4 contenders over the next 4 years, and he's going to be their 7 or 8 sack guy and the guy who maybe comes up in the postseason for them.
And he's smart enough to know that I don't have to chase sacks anymore. And I think that's something that Joe Cullen, and it's in the piece, but that's something Joe Cullen really got across to him, is that you've already done it. You've already been the guy. Such a mismatch versus most teams that it's his hands, it's his turn to be the star of the pass rush, whereas in 2019 it was the opposite, right? Chris was getting the pressure, Frank was getting the sacks. Now it's about, hey, making sure that you are obviously sealing the edge, that you're aware of the screen. His tackle in the open field against the Jaguars, that's all based on film study, instincts, and recognition as to what to do. And look, that's a splash play, but also, what are you doing in your rush lane integrity every passing situation so that the quarterback has to stay in the pocket, because guess what? Chris Jones is lingering somewhere to clean up the sack. So they've done a really nice job, but it was something that when I talked to him, it was just okay, I can kind of see it where you think the time is now. And then of course he gave an absolute fire quote after the game where he I put it on Twitter where he's like, when the money's on the line, you know who to call. And I just looked at him and said, this is why he is the best quote in this era of Chiefs football.
One, we got to make sure the stomach's right for Sunday. Make
Correct.
sure his stomach is just coated with Pepto and everything all week long. But then comes Sunday, I told Cody, obviously hope the Chiefs win on Sunday, but if they do, there's nothing I'm looking forward to more than on the field, post-game interview, unfiltered, uncensored, Frank Clark, with all the trash talk that's going on in Cincy.
Oh, they talking.
What do you make
they
of that?
are
Because
talking.
the Chiefs are going to be completely quiet all week, especially after what happened with Justin Reed the last go-around.
Yep.
But if they win Sunday night on that field, there's going to be amazing quotes that are coming out.
Amazing quotes.
And from Frank,
Not just
Frank's the top of the list.
Oh, of course.
Mahomes is going to make some snide comment. And then I'll bet Justin Reed has some real words to say. Then Frank Clark will be fantastic, and Chris Jones will probably have. It'll be the cat, the call, right?
Yes.
Bat signal up, all right, boys. We can say whatever the hell we want now.
Now, one of the crazy things about the playoffs, because there's nowhere to hide, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's a 1-game sample, and there's nowhere to hide. Even in the snow, everybody can tell y'all don't look right, Buffalo.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs is the guy, spreading his arms out in front of his quarterback,
on the bench.
Why are you not accurate today? What is going on? You are not accurate this entire game when we know we got to throw the football to stay attached to them and to obviously, have a comeback. There's just nowhere to hide. So in 1 week, you can feel like you did everything right, that you are competent, that you're excellent, that you have proven to everybody on a national stage with the only game on television that you are a Super Bowl contender. And then the next week it could go all bad, all quickly, so fast. The season is so long and it ends so quickly. And it doesn't take a lot, because even Tony Romo in Sunday's game was like, I don't know, Jim.
Well, he was asking 100 questions throughout the game.
It's 14-0, and I don't like what I'm seeing. And at that point, I was like, oh, this is bad.
But that's always a good reminder, like with just Cincinnati, because I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you're like, you could be scared of Cincy anyway. They've beaten you 3 straight times, but that was their best.
That's the best they
played. I mean, I go back and watch them the week before and be like, what the hell were you doing against the Ravens? You looked off.
They looked tense. They looked tense like, hey, we're expected to win.
They're standing there on the 1-yard line getting ready for a touchdown with 10 minutes to play. I mean, they were feeling it.
They're human. I mean, that's the beauty of the playoffs. There's literally
if you lose this, it's gonna matter.
Yes, and there's no way to hide. And so, it's all about one play leading up to the next. But at that moment, everybody feels the tension of that play without knowing what's gonna come behind it. Following it. I mean, obviously the best play for the Bengals this entire season was Von Bell tackling, J.K. Dobbins at the 1-yard line. No one would have said that. No one would have predicted that. But it all sets up, obviously, Sam Hubbard's, 98-yard touchdown return. Yep. I mean, you just don't know what's going to come before the game-winning or game-losing moment. But, everybody feels it. So they can feel great because from start to finish, they never felt stressed. And that's a little bit different than most playoff games. They're going to enter Arrowhead, whether Mahomes is fully healthy or not. They're going to enter Arrowhead stressed because every game's been close, and they know that. And, yes, they've been the victor in the last 3 games because they made the most plays in the fourth quarter and overtime. But, I can't imagine a better script for that team. Hey, we got through our little test, like you said, 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. All right, didn't lose to Tyler Huntley. We're up 14-0 with 8 minutes into the game?
Yeah.
Oh, we get to dictate everything from this point on. And by the way, the Bills didn't change anything on defense. It was an abomination from Leslie Frazier, in my opinion.
You know what? But you say that, and that's been maybe my biggest. I'm not the let's crush Spags guy. I've hated all of his plans against Cincinnati. You got a better one? Because let's just let Jamar Chase go one-on-one plan sucked. So let's move on. Then let's drop 8 and let us pick apart. That plan didn't work either. Right. I'm going to need a different plan, Nate.
I got a plan for you, and it doesn't involve Spags doing a damn thing. That is tackle the way they've been tackling the last month.
Because
we all saw the screenshot. Jamar Chase, 4 guys around him. Nobody could tackle him.
Yep.
If they can tackle the way they have the last month, that to me is how the defense, all of a sudden we're saying, wow, so much better defensive performance. I think tackling, is going to be important on Sunday.
So I told y'all at the start of this, I was spending a lot of time writing and researching. You want me to drop a stat that?
Let's hear it. Yeah, please. Is this for a future athletic article? We're getting a preview.
Yes, this will be in tomorrow's article because I'm going to write basically what are the 4 lessons that this team learned and has to actually apply on Sunday, and one of them is tackling. To your point, Mr. Gold. This is where the eye test needs to be backed up by the statistics, and then the statistics tell you, oh, your eyes is working. This season, this is through True Media and Pro Football Focus, first contact by a defender, but did not make the tackle. So I get there first, and he's still running. The Chiefs this season averaged 13.5 plays on defense. 13.5 per game. Now that tells you a lot of young guys and keep everything in front of you, which is, I think the Chiefs have done actually a pretty good job this season is keep everything in front of you, even on the Christian Kirk play. Keep him in front of you while he's running right by us. We have 2 safeties accounting for this. Against the Bengals, it was a great throw. Against the Bengals in this game earlier this season, and in the AFC Championship game last year. You want to guess how many plays they've had? Plays where the first offender got there and did not record the tackle.
25.
Well, I'm guessing it's less. I don't know.
No, your eyes is gonna work. It's pretty astonishing. It's 25 plays a game.
Oh, it was 25.
In the last, let me repeat that. In the last 2 games against the Cincinnati Bengals, last year's AFC Championship game, which went into overtime.
25.
And earlier this season, there have been 25 offensive plays where the first offender made contact appropriately, but did not bring the ball carrier down.
Let's try to put that on Spags. Yeah.
Yep. So
I still say the Jamar Chase plan stunk, but that's fine.
Here's a change that they made for the game earlier this season. They actually blitzed less, which people were calling for, and they thought he's still going to want to try to throw a lot of deep balls down the sideline. Now he did, and they were less successful because Trent McDuffie is that dude. And even with, Jamar Chase still had to work for those yards. And actually, when he made the catch, give credit, Joshua Williams actually brought him down. So there's not like a long catch and long run for a touchdown. The issue was they thought, hey, we're gonna protect these rookie cornerbacks as best we can, but it does leave the middle of the field wide open. And Nick Bolton, sorry, man.
P. Ryan just ate.
It was not pretty. Nick Bolton had 5 plays where he was the first player to make contact, and he did not bring the ball carrier down. L'Jarius Sneed, hey, you want to play nickel? Cool. L'Jarius Sneed had 4 of those missed opportunities. Justin Reed had 3. Willie Gay had 2. So it's your middle of the field that has to improve in this game so that now that these rookies have this experience against obviously elite wide receivers, you can hope that they'll really win some of the 50-50 balls. That maybe Jalen Watson's going to do an even better job than Joshua Williams did earlier this season. But you can't have those opportunities if you cannot tackle the ball carrier. There were so many times in these last 2 games where 3rd and 6, 3rd and 4, great. All right, let me just throw this little swing pass. Hey, let me check it down. Because I'm Joe Burrow. I'm maturing right in front of your eyes. I don't have to take the deep shot all the time, especially when y'all can't tackle. And that's why they beat them. They devoured the middle of the field earlier this season against the Chiefs defense.
How many times are we going to see, because we saw it a couple times in the first matchup, and I thought it was interesting, Joe Burrow would go, it'd be a 2nd and 2, and they just go ahead and do a QB sneak and just get it over with. It was kind of interesting to me. A lot of times you take a shot on 2nd and 2, but 2 or 3 times in the Chiefs-Bengals game, you saw Joe Burrow on a 2nd and 2 just go QB sneak, which I thought was interesting.
Part of that is possession, and that's something that they actually equipped and manipulated, and to the detriment of the Bills on Sunday. We got up 14-0. Cool. Guess what we about to do? Run clock. Run clock all day. You know where we going to be? 3rd and 2. Hey, it's 1st and 10. We're just going to tell you right now, it's going to be 3rd and 3. You going to stop us? Hey, I thought the Bills did a fine job. Hey, they expect QB sneak because, like you just mentioned, Joe Burrow known for that. All right, check at the line of scrimmage. Run a little pitch out. All right, we're going to be in 3rd and 3. 2 plays later, it just runs clock. And again, it sped Josh Allen up because he's already down 14-0. He knows he's going to have less possessions this game than he normally would have. And the offense feels pressure because the other offense is just having 6-minute drives, 7-minute drives. And I think part of that obviously equated to, why would we give Patrick Mahomes 60 snaps? Why? We need to limit this as best we can and obviously execute at a really high level in the red zone if you're going to use that type of, game plan. So I think the Bengals can go one of 2 ways. They could try to be ultra aggressive like they were against the Bills and then get into the possession game, or they could just try to say, let's just keep the formula that has worked before with the Chiefs, which is we're going to have to convert on 3rd down. We're going to have to keep Burrow upright. And a lot of that is, hey, hitch routes, and then we take our shots downfield when we feel like it's advantageous to us in the middle of the field.
Nate Taylor from The Athletic, always great stuff, man. Appreciate it. We'll be keeping an eye out for that article as well on the biggest takeaways from the Chiefs and Bengals history with each other there. Good insight from Nate. Coming up next, we had a chance to catch up with our VNFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino of the Royals. He was actually in Buffalo. He saw Cincy firsthand, so you'll hear that conversation next.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Royals first baseman / NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. This football season with Cody and Gold.
My Twitter is about to unload of football tweets. First Jets game that I have free on Sunday. It's go time.
610 Sports Radio.
If you've been watching the NFL playoffs from the sidelines, there's still time to get in the game with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers bet this Sunday's conference championship games with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code 610BOB. I'd be betting it all on the Chiefs this weekend to beat the Bengals. FanDuel has all of your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay, all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code 610BOB. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued non-withdrawable free bets expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Treat your Valentine to a gift from Shane Company. We have beautifully crafted jewelry in every price range and offer free express shipping and free 60-day returns.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. That's right. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Wednesday, February 22nd, Sure Stay Plus by Best Western Kansas City. Or Thursday, February 23rd at the Holiday Inn and Suites, Overland Park West, Overland Park. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
4 months. 4 months is all it takes to become a pro in a new field, and one that is more in demand than ever, the career of IT. And in the IT field, Centric is the real MVP. The results speak for themselves, with 1,500 companies and counting that have hired Centric grads. Reach out to Russ Mondry today. He will walk you through your career options and discuss Centric's hands-on approach. Learn more at centric.com/610. That's CENTRIQ.com/610. IT is the future of Kansas City. Let Centric make it your future.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Streaming only on Peacock. From the mind of Ryan Johnson, the writer-director of Knives Out.
Miss Gale, you've got this gift. Always knowing the truth.
I only know if something is alive. The real trick of it is to figure out why.
Natasha Lyonne is Charlie Cale.
It wasn't an accident. I think there's been a murder.
You watch too much Dateline.
A new 10-part mystery series.
Wolves on my fender. I gotta keep moving. I have been kind of a death magnet.
Poker Face, streaming January 26th, only on Peacock.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
At Anthony, we get the job done right the first time. That's why you know us as the technicians you can trust with your house keys. Right now, receive 50% off a new furnace when you purchase a new AC. Schedule online today at anthonyphce.com.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Thanks to Nate Taylor from The Athletic. Great stuff as always. Nate Taylor Show Monday nights here on 610 and also his work over at The Athletic. Earlier, though, we had a chance to catch up with our guy, Vinnie Pasquantino. He was in Cincinnati, or in Buffalo for the Cincinnati and Bills game. So we'll take a listen to our conversation with him where he gave us the lowdown on what to expect for the Chiefs and Bengals Sunday at Arrowhead.
Now, joining Cody and Gold.
Hey, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning, let me tell you that.
It's your 2022 VinFL Insider.
Are his hands going to get any bigger?
Royals first baseman, Vinnie Pasquantino.
As a potential future Chiefs fan, we hate the Broncos.
All right, Vinnie Pasquantino is joining us. First of all, though, I think there were some Chiefs fans that were a little concerned, Vinnie, when they saw on your Twitter feed you were in Buffalo. You were at the Bills Stadium. Were you a neutral observer, or was there some rooting interest there?
I was a neutral observer. Yeah, I've never seen the Kansas City people turn on me so quick. You know, I figured at some point it was probably coming, but I just didn't know it'd be that quick. Our good friend Bobby Witt, he posted that he was in KC with a pin next to it, and I texted him. I said, "Watch this." And I tweeted that I was in Buffalo, and very quickly my feed turned very negative on me quickly. But yeah, that happened. But I was just there scouting. That's all I was doing. I was there on a business trip. You know, got to see a football game, watch the Cincinnati Bengals punch their ticket to the Gayha Field Invitational.
I know that you are, you know, you're going to grind the tape later in the week, so certainly we can get some more analysis there. But what was your initial scouting impression of Cincinnati?
Of Cincinnati is just that they were a more physical ball club in the snow than the Bills were. I would say that Von Miller not playing for the Bills, that's where it made its impact, was that game right there. Nobody could now, again, remember when you're at games, it's hard to get the stats because they're not just forced down your throat all the time. But I don't remember Joe Burrow ever even getting touched. So you're going to need to get to the quarterback if you want to beat the Bengals. That is a fact. Same goes for if you want to beat the Chiefs.
You were there with, what, Ryan Fitzpatrick was there? Who else were you sitting by, and how was the interaction with Fitzmagic?
Yeah, so Ryan Fitzpatrick was sitting 5 rows behind me or so, and I get a text from Chris Rose, and he says, "Hey, go take a picture with Fitzpatrick." It's like, say no more. Will do. And so I did. That was it. I literally fanboyed about as hard as you possibly can. I just went up there. I said, "Hey, Ryan, my name's Vinny. Chris Rose told me to come take a picture with you." And he's like, "All right, let's do it." And that was it.
How did Chris Rose know that you guys were 5 rows apart?
Well, so this is where it gets a little hazy. Either somebody told Chris that he was there, or I told Chris he was there. I cannot remember. It was snowing, you know. So, yeah, it was snowing. It was, you know how it goes.
When we're talking about the NFC side, before we talk about the Chiefs thing, we've got the Eagles and, of course, the 49ers. Is Mr. Irrelevant's story going to continue? How are you feeling about the NFC title game?
Oh, God, both those teams are just so good, but going to the Link is so hard. It's such a good place to have your home field being. I like the Eagles, I think. Last week, I kind of liked the Giants against the Eagles, but after seeing the Eagles just dominate that game, I'll just say it. I'm biased on a weekly basis. You know, I don't look at the long term. I look at the right in front of me, and right in front of me is the Eagles were unbelievable on Sunday to the point where it was just kind of a boring playoff game. That's a good spot as a franchise when you're playing boring playoff football games.
It's so rare that you're talking about just like these especially in divisional round games. I feel like they're supposed to be ugly like the 49ers-Cowboys one was.
Yeah, especially coming off of a few weeks off for the Eagles. I mean, it's not easy to come off a bye and just get right back in there and have everything firing on all cylinders, especially with a team that was as hot as the Giants. Now, I mean, they did play the Texans, the Colts, the Vikings. Like, not that the Vikings weren't good, but every team that they beat this year is no longer in the playoffs. So that's tough for them. But, yeah, I mean, I have a – it's going to be a weird uniform matchup seeing the Chiefs and the Eagles play each other in the Super Bowl.
The Kelsey brothers.
Yeah, the Kelsey brothers, that's a big one. They're going to have to record a podcast live from the Super Bowl, I think. I think that's the only way they can really do that.
We're talking to our VetFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino, here on Cody and Gold. What did you make of what the Chiefs looked like against the Jags? Because we know the huge story coming out of that is the health of Patrick Mahomes with that ankle. You're a professional athlete. I don't know what the worst injury is that you've had, but this high ankle sprain sounds like a big pain in the ass for Mahomes for Sunday.
Yeah, that's bad news. I think he'll be all right. It seems to be an injury that he's had success coming back from before, which is good. Obviously, we don't know the exact grade of it. At least I don't. You guys might. But I think he'll be all right and he'll play. But, I mean, to be honest, if something were to happen and he couldn't go, at least Chad Henne got a little bit of work, I suppose. He was able to play in a game, but let's just not even think about that. 15's going to be out there this weekend. He's going to be firing on all cylinders, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Vinny, I don't know if you obviously you're very busy, so I assume you didn't catch the first segment of the show. Nick, I don't know if you have it, but Cody already has upset everybody in Kansas City.
That's not true, Vinny. They're playing this out of context.
Listen to what Cody had to say a few minutes ago.
So I hope they lose to Cincinnati now. Okay, so look, I was yelling into the microphone at the time, Vinny, because I didn't like the referee for the Super Bowl game.
Yeah, well, that's where being a Chiefs fan is just fantastic because you can worry about who's refereeing in the Super Bowl. Just speaking from who I personally like, other than the Chiefs, I could not care less who was refereeing in the Super Bowl. Just get me there. Just get me there, you know?
Just experience it.
You guys have done a nice job of building a team that, you know, is just a consistent winner. So I suppose you have that right to feel that way.
What do you think? I mean,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, from an actual play perspective, like playing through an injury like that, can you just, you know, for one game ignore the pain if it's, you know, 4 15-minute quarters, any of that? Can Mahomes really just play through it if he's not worried about it?
I think when the game starts, yes, but as the game wears on and things get a little bit more physical, depending on what the weather's like, how long, like if you're Cincinnati, not that they necessarily need to play like this, but if you can somehow get like an 8-10 minute drive going, all of a sudden Mahomes isn't on the field. He's not moving around. He's just moving around on the sidelines. There's a fire truck going by me right now.
Well, we hear it.
So I hope everybody's okay. Yeah, I hope everybody's okay where that's going. But, yeah, hopefully, you know, if you're the Chiefs, you want to have the ball. You want to control possession a little bit and just kind of keep them moving around. And, you know, 87's going to get open. You know that. So just find him, see where he's at. Just hit him. He'll go for 20, 25 yards and just hand it off. I mean, between McKinnon and Pacheco, that's a pretty good duo you got there that's just going to find the end zone.
Vinny, I know you were boots on the ground in Buffalo. Can you confirm or deny that you will be attending this week's AFC Championship game in Kansas City?
Once I get an email officially confirming my tickets, yes, I can 100% confirm. Flights have been purchased. Hotel is getting looked at today. Now I'm trying to find out where I'm going to hang out with the people before the game and tailgate. So
I don't think you'll have an issue finding a tailgate to welcome you in.
So that's my plan. So if anybody out there is listening to this and you know you got a spot, just let me know. I've got a few things working, and we're going to see. I'm excited to get in the building and feel Arrowhead on Sunday night. It's going to be a good one.
Did you get a feel from that from Michael Massey or MJ Melendez? They came in town or were at the game on Saturday. Did they tell you what the atmosphere was like?
To be honest, I've called Michael like probably 5-6 times and he hasn't answered. So
wow, but you're not blocked. You guys aren't blocked anymore, right? I mean, you don't have them blocked anymore.
He texted me back this morning because I texted him last night and I said, "Why are you the hardest person to reach?" And then I said, "I have other sources that say that you're impossible to reach." And then he started naming people that were not in my source book. So he's just sourcing himself out, which is really funny.
Now, I don't know if you know, there's actually a listener of our show that sounds really similar to you. He actually called in on Friday. I think it was Chris in Overland Park. I don't know if you guys are related or anything, but you guys sound really...
He sounds unbelievable. Sounds really smart. I'm going to try to find to make him whole and get him a T-shirt or something, you know?
Yeah, maybe Chris is tailgating. Maybe you can tailgate with Chris on Sunday at the game.
Yeah, I'll just send out a tweet looking for Chris, see where he's going to be at, and try to find him. I just want to be with the people this weekend, and then go watch the Chiefs punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. And then I want to come to the Royals rally the next weekend and see all the people coming to see us. I want them to be wearing red, I think, when they come to the Royals rally, because in that case, that means the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl.
I love it. Yeah, that rally sold out quick, too. We were talking to some people on Friday. I know people are fired up for that. We'll have a chance maybe next week or so to talk to you a little bit more about that. Well, hopefully everything works out. You make it to KC on Sunday, and we already have people texting in saying, Lot J, Vinny, Lot J, they're ready for you.
All right, I'm fired up about I need to get, at some point this weekend, I need to get my fiance Ryan. She's coming with me. I need to get her some Chiefs gear. So where do you guys recommend?
Rally House.
Rally House. Got it. We're gonna make our way there on Sunday and get her something fired up. Get her a Kelsey jersey, baby.
Is that the jersey? Is that's who she likes?
No, not necessarily. But I mean, who doesn't like Travis Kelsey? I'll be wearing my Nick Allegretti jersey. That's coming in today. I got official confirmation that will be here today, so I'm gonna get that. And then we're going to go get her a jersey, too, and we're going to make a special weekend.
Love it, man. Enjoy KC this weekend at Arrowhead, and we'll check in next week.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
So that was our conversation with Vinnie Pasquantino, who he's probably going to send out a tweet on Sunday morning and say, where's the tailgate at? I would imagine KC's going to step up. He will have no problem finding some tailgates, some food, all of that for him and his fiance, who are going to experience Arrowhead for the first time.
Are you going to be out there early enough to tailgate?
I'm riding with other people, so it's not my decision.
It's a group decision.
Correct. But I will be out there. But I don't
know.
Will
the group
want
to tailgate, you think?
My guess is no.
Oh.
My guess is no. But if Vinny's if Vinny's out there, maybe things change. We'll see.
Right, Popeye, say hello.
That's right.
He's been very generous with his time. It feels like you owe him a beer.
I think so.
Come on with us as our NFL insider the entire year.
Something also tells me that he will have no problem getting beer if he goes to someone's tailgate. I don't think he'll need it from me. Something tells me.
Yeah, but I think
Kansas City
you
fans
should
will
get him a
step
beer.
up. I mean, in the stadium, if he happens, I doubt our seats are going to be near each other. There are about 75,000 seats. It's the chances of him sitting.
I mean, what were the chances he was going to sit 5 rows back of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and yet here we are.
This is true because Ryan Fitzpatrick and I are clearly on the same level.
Well, you're going to be sitting lower level, to my understanding.
Yeah, but he might be in a suite. Vinny might be in a suite.
I know, but I'm just saying. I think you'd be sitting lower level, which is
true.
I think that's the worst place. That's the lowest quality of ticket I would expect Vinny to have.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know if he's sitting upper tank. If I had Major League Baseball player money, I'd be
300 is where the baked potatoes are at. 300 levels where those
Remember,
baked potatoes
100 of you between the first and the second quarter.
You forgot to ask Vinny if he was going to have a potato.
Bring a potato in?
Excuse me? I don't think he's going to have a baked potato brought in.
Nick, you could still ask him. Will you ask Vinny if he'll be one of the 100? Because we got Alex, that's 99.
No.
Nick says flat out not happening.
Nope.
Interesting. You were behind the potato thing.
I don't want to bother Vinny with a stupid question.
That's fair.
I don't text Vinny other than to confirm things about the show. I'm not trying to forge some sort of friendship with him.
I know, but it seems like it'd be nice of you to ask about the potato because
it wouldn't be
having a celebrity on this side would help.
Sometimes you say things, and I don't think you actually I know you hear yourself, but I don't know that you understand what it is you're saying. It would not be nice of me to ask Vinny if he wants to eat a baked potato at the Chiefs game.
He's a man of the people. Having a celebrity on our case feels like it would help. So I hope they lose to Cincinnati now. I thought we agreed to play the Whopper song when things got awkward on this show.
They hadn't gotten awkward though. They only get awkward when you say things like you're rooting for the Bengals to win.
Cody is rooting for Cincinnati to win on Sunday.
I'd like to put some context to that.
You said those.
You know what? I don't think we need any. I don't think we need any context.
Not everything needs context.
You guys are always editing
well
things.
Said, Alex.
You guys are constantly editing things to make me sound worse.
Oh, that was not. Those words were all
not
said
edited at all.
The exact same order. That was said.
Won't
in that
allow
order.
me to provide context. Won't let me do anything.
That was in the right order.
You know why, Cody? Because we've just heard enough out of you today, quite frankly.
All right, I'll sit out the last 2 minutes.
You think he can actually do it?
I don't know. He's backing his chair away. He's got his leg up.
You know why? You know why? He has to back away from the microphone because he knows if he's sitting next to the microphone,
he's embarrassed.
He will blurt something out.
He's embarrassed.
So I hope they lose to Cincinnati.
He's embarrassed that he said that.
He should be. He should be ashamed.
I'll maintain this. There's been a lot of silly things all of us have said on these airwaves since we've done this show, but I really don't believe a radio host in Kansas City has ever said they hope the Chiefs lose a playoff game. And we made radio history today. It's not the kind of history I hope this show would ever make. But Cody has made history today.
And I thought we just talked about this yesterday, how Cody's actions, and really all of our actions, have effects on the other two people involved with the show.
Yeah, reputation.
We are attached to one another. So, and now it's 2 days in a row where one specific person, we don't need to name who, has said something sort of outlandish or outrageous, and it's had a negative effect on us.
I think it's well said as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's accurate.
You and I are saying we're making a lot of sense today.
That's what we try to do.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think our listeners expect sentences that make sense to be uttered. You know,
oh, wow. And then, I mean, that was well said as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate that as well.
You're just going to let that go? Sentences that make sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's right.
Sentences that make sense.
I knew he couldn't.
Cody's back. He's back,
last.
baby. This is the type of stuff that gets you blocked by Bill Snyder. I agree.
This is the kind of
stuff. This is the kind of stuff.
I said anything about K-State. He's offended by all things, Bill Snyder?
Oh, man. You couldn't help yourself.
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti, cream cheese, Colby Jack. Did I say Gruyere? Blue, Swiss.
Still impressive. Cody knows 7 whole cheeses.
And
the final word.
The same ones in the same order every time. Every time. We found out your favorite. That's right.
My favorite 7 cheeses.
We'll be back at it tomorrow, a Wednesday edition of the show. Kling's going to join us, of course. We'll get his thoughts. He'll be on the sideline. Maybe he'll be. In fact, if the Chiefs win, I want to ask him what he thinks that Frank Clark interview is going to be like on the field, because my guess is Kling will be the one likely conducting said interview on the Chiefs radio network. So that's coming up tomorrow on the show. Up next, though, of course, it's C-Dot and Rob on The Drive.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since